Hey guys, what is going on in the Zobadiah? And today we are back with another episode of Music Row Hideout, and we are here today with co-hosts Ryan Poole and Jake Anderson. And Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and let you take away the intro, because that's what I make you do every time.
That was a good, radio introduction voice.
Thanks. I'll work on it.
Yeah. It's good.
Thought it was fine.
Ryan just thought it was okay.
Wow, Ryan.
I've heard better. I mean, I've done this with you 2 other times, so I've seen your
I'm
best.
now here with co-host Jake Anderson.
So this is on my far left, 5 feet away from me, is Jake Anderson. Jake Anderson is a singer-songwriter living here in Nashville, Tennessee, and he is one half of the folk. Would you call it a folk duo?
Yeah, like a country folk. It's Americana. But
Americana duo called Simple
duo.
Truce. And Jake has recently had one of his songs cut with by his what song was that? Smoke?
Smoke, yeah, with Katrina Burgoyne. She's an Australian artist that lives here in Nashville, and we wrote the song together. So, pretty cool.
And the question I actually wanted to start off with, and we'll see where this goes.
Okay.
But you've mentioned to me in passing that you were some kind of like a doctor before.
Not a doctor, but I didn't do what most people do when they come to Nashville. So I came here for a medical job, and what brought me here, I always tell people like my condensed version, my whatever you get like 10 seconds in an elevator, I just usually tell people like, hey, I had a job that I hated that brought me to a city I love that led me to do what I feel like I'm made to do. So, yeah, I was doing orthopedic surgery a couple days a week and seeing patients. Yeah, well, I was not a surgeon. So my credentials were I was an athletic trainer, which is like the same as the guy who like runs off the sideline at a football game, somebody gets hurt or whatever. So my butt has been on television many times through like working with Georgia Tech and Tampa Bay Buccaneers and whatever you run out.
So you're used to being in front of a camera like this.
Well,
this is your comfort zone.
Not exactly like this.
Actually, like this.
The problem with being an athletic trainer is that if you're a great athletic trainer and things happen, but like a good night is when you're not on the camera because you don't want to be on the field.
Sure.
But I was doing that, and I essentially kind of like weeded my way through everything you could do with traditional athletic training. So I worked at high school. I did private school stuff. I did college athletics. I did professional athletics. And then while I was at Georgia Tech doing my master's degree, I got like one of the doctors that was a team doc. They had a program where essentially they called it a residency program, and they taught me to first assist in the OR. I got a certification as a first assist in the OR, and then taught me how to run an orthopedic clinic. So,
wow.
That sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, so it was a lot of stuff. I have a master's degree in sports. I'm the most overeducated songwriter you'll probably ever meet. That's actually like doing it full time.
Yeah. So, can you tell us about the transition from full-time orthopedic?
PA.
I don't understand how to not call you a surgeon.
Physician extender is what they called me.
Physician extender.
Yeah. So essentially, I functioned like a PA. I just couldn't
write. Right-hand man?
I just couldn't. Yeah. So I couldn't write prescriptions. That was the only thing different.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the transition.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So I got here and it was like this. I went through this year of fellowship training. I thought like, man, I like this. This is good. At least it's tolerable and it's not so much traveling. I can see my wife, and I did not have kids yet before we moved here, or I did like for a month, and then we moved here when my son was a month old.
What happened?
It was just the end of what happened.
Yeah. Sorry. You said I said that in a very grim way. You said, quote, we didn't have kids when we moved here. Well, we did a month before we did.
Yeah, so we're the crazy people that move with a 1-month-old from Atlanta to Nashville for a job. And I guess, it was just one of those things where it was, I definitely knew I was not going to be happy doing what I was doing before. And then I did the stuff at Emory, doing the physician extender training. And I got recruited to come up here and work with a guy at Vanderbilt. And so we moved up here, and I was like, all right, well, this will be good, and maybe there will be a chance to like start my own program or do whatever. And that essentially what happened was I was really good at my job, and I was really miserable.
That sucks.
So
You know who else is really good at their job? Self-proclaimed? Jerry
self-proclaimed.
Bird.
Ooh,
I am really good at my job.
what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't even know what
I
you do.
process financial aid at Belmont.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's the worst.
There's
Unless
a lot,
anyone from Belmont's
there's
watching,
a
in which
lot
case I
of
love
people,
Belmont.
dude. I know people that have been like even just like a year at Belmont, and they're like, like it's expensive to go there.
Yeah, it's cheaper than Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's cheap. Well, I mean, both of them are.
They're both
Vanderbilt's
ridiculous.
like the Ivy League of the South kind of school, but
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people call it the Harvard of the South,
yeah.
which
it's
a better school. than
I can't
Belmont.
imagine like if my kid. So both of my kids they like music. Cohen's getting more and more into like. I put a thing up today on my Instagram story of him. Like he's been picking out. He likes to do harmonies now. He figured out harmonies, and so we do harmonies at bedtime instead of stories. We sing. And he was playing on the piano and playing 2 different parts with both hands or whatever, and which is really cool. So I just put a thing up of it.
How old is he?
He is 7.
7.
Yeah. So he's, they're interested, but if he's ever looks at me, I'm totally supportive. He's like, Dad, I want to be a songwriter like you, or I want to be in a band, or I want to whatever. I want to be a producer. Great. I'm just going to tell him to go in the garage and suck for a while though, because it's too expensive to like, I know so many people that have a Belmont degree and spent like $100,000 or $150,000 on an education.
Yeah, and it goes up every year.
And they are like doing the same thing I'm doing. So
I have one of those degrees, not from Belmont. I went to
Right.
the Art Institute in San Diego. It's
Where I also used to
$100,000.
process financial aid.
Yeah. The Art Institute is a $100,000 degree. Belmont is more.
Yeah, Belmont now is about 180.
golly.
Yeah.
And
Which
what's
is
bummer is like I see
insanity.
some people come there for music business, for some kind of music related thing, or nursing apparently is
Yeah.
big there.
I mean, I think it's cool for
That's
the connections and stuff like that. If you can afford, if your parents are like, just have like,
All the money.
FU money, and they're like, hey, yeah, cool. You
Yeah,
want to
we
go to
got some of
Belmont?
them.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
my exact advice. I had a student from my church who talked to me, and I think she was 19 or 18 or something, and was thinking about going to the Art Institute, the same place I went. And she said, hey, would you recommend it?
Right.
And I said, here's my thing, and I think this is the same for Belmont or any audio program, maybe even any music program. My thing is, if you're not going to have to pay it back. If you have in my case, I had grandparents that pay for every grandchild's college.
Right.
And that's their like gift,
But nice.
which is pretty nice. Yeah. So
You're invalidating my entire job, Ryan. All I do is give people loans all day.
No, dude, what you do is
Yeah.
important.
But it's terrible.
It's important for people that are, if there's a plan to pay it back. Problem is, people don't think about that now.
Financial aid's a giant pyramid
And
scheme. I'm totally
nobody,
against it.
nobody like talks to them about like, hey, dude, like, just want to let you know that this is like a shackle, and all the things you want to do, like, you're gonna have to work really hard just to pay this loan back, and not be able to focus on what it is you actually want to do.
I think if you can, it's probably it's a good thing that, like, I'm glad it's not just people like me that happen to have a lucky like relative that can pay for college, that they could get a leg up, and some like
Right.
if I didn't, my parents are very like lower middle class. They wouldn't be able to pay for my school without my grandparents.
Right.
If I were in that situation and my grandparents weren't around, I'm glad that there are loans available that I could have gone to school if I wanted to.
Right.
But when it comes to audio, I would say don't get a degree unless it's going to be free or nearly free, because a lot of the old school looks down on the degree, and they think students are entitled, and they're like, you don't need a degree, you should just learn on your own. And that's true, you can totally learn it on your own. But I do think if it's not going to shackle you for the next 20 years, it does fast track
Right.
you. And so that's kind of where I land on it. So
Yeah.
that's my advice to Cohen.
But I have
If
no
you guys
idea.
grow a relative that gives away free money,
We'll just
he
have
should
to
go.
see what happens. Yeah.
Grow a relative. Yeah, I have no idea we're talking about
Yeah.
financial aid.
We've been-
This is my whole job.
We've been really lucky though. So like, I guess full circle from that, right? We're talking about transition. So I got lucky that like before we left Atlanta and came here, we were in a position where like we paid off all my student loans. We paid
Hi,
off.
Taro Miro.
So like, we have fans. I don't know. You may not be a fan yet, but maybe you will be soon.
Oh, Tara Mir, that's Liz.
Liz?
Yeah,
Oh.
Hey, Liz.
Hi, Liz.
Hey,
I know
Liz.
of Liz.
Hey, you probably heard Liz. She's my moderator.
There you go.
But then we also got Squirrel Gaming saying what's up in the chat. I know Healy listens to another music podcast out of San Diego.
Oh, cool.
We're friends with friends.
Is
of
Squirrel
people who do
Gaming
it.
the guy who was at NAM
Co-recommended
today?
him. Yeah, you were at NAM today, right, Squirrel Gaming? I don't know how long it takes you to see that, or even if you're on your phone, you might be at NAM right now.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll talk about NAM later. I went
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
anyway.
Also, what are we drinking
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, what
Oh,
are we
yeah.
drinking?
Hold
part
the
of the- yeah.
podcast.
Woo!
The most important thing that we needed to say
Who do I owe thanks to for the goods?
tonight, it was Jury. This is his week.
My
All
week.
right.
Yeah. But we got some Jack and some Coke to make Jack and Coke.
Can you do this
As you
on
do.
On YouTube? Are we gonna get in trouble
No,
for
that's
like
fine.
copyright?
Oh, yeah,
I,
it's fine.
I drink, I vape on things else. No problem. I curse.
So if you're
Coca-Cola, if you're interested in sponsoring
if
a
you're
podcast,
not familiar with
Yeah.
the podcast,
Or
I
Jack.
think actually the people who are in here are. But if
People
you aren't
are.
familiar, if you aren't familiar with our podcast, what we're drinking in the Hideout tonight is a very important thing that we do.
Very important. Maybe the reason
Yeah.
why we
It might be
exist.
why we do it. And
right.
so we ask our artists each week what they would like to drink, what's their favorite drink, and that's what we drink. So
Jack
cheers.
and Coke. Cheers,
Cheers.
fellas. Clink it, and
Clink.
sink it.
You're right, Liz. We should totally get a drink sponsor. Unfortunately, I don't think we're quite there yet, but you can get right on that for me.
Dude, there's a lot of like Nashville distilleries and
Yeah.
breweries
Well, this
and
is in
stuff like that.
Tennessee.
Jack's very
Yeah, it's in
close.
Tennessee.
Right down the road, yeah.
Right. So, but if you have like one where, I mean, it's cooler though if you just, you know,
Yeah.
you get the one that the artist likes instead of like, hey, dude, I know that you like Jack and Coke, but tonight we're drinking Stella because that who sponsors
Sponsoring
the
us.
sponsors
That
the
being said,
podcast.
hey,
This might
I'll
be
drink
a-
Stella every day if they want to sponsor me.
This might be a good point to mention that next week we'll be interviewing Alexander Wren and drinking
Oh.
either neat scotch or whiskey. Oh, yeah. He gave me options. We can either drink scotch or whiskey neat or mezcal soda. I think we're going to go to the neat
Yeah.
whiskey if you're listening, Alex. Or
Probably.
scotch is cool, but
Honestly,
I think
so
we're
far,
both
this is
more
my
whiskey
favorite.
people. We're down with the Jack and
This is
Coke.
my,
Jack and
one of my
Coke's
favorite
pretty
drinks.
good.
I think
right
we'll
now.
do neat whiskey, and if
It's a good blue collar kind of drink.
if one of my clients pays me this week, maybe we'll do something fancy like Booker's. But
Fancy.
but if I don't get paid this week, we'll go to something lower like
Something in a
Bullet.
plastic
Yeah.
bottle.
Bullet is the
Bullet.
best
Bullet's
bourbon.
good. Bullet's really
affordable.
good.
Well, you can
whiskey
get like
I
a
know
good
of.
like 12-year Weller or something like that if you're gonna drink bourbon.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Elijah
Or some
Craig,
Four Roses.
the 12-year Elijah Craig is
I've
about
never.
the same price
What was
as
the one you
Bullet.
just said? Weller? I've never had that.
Weller, 12-year Weller is not. It's pretty good. It's like probably from like a affordable bottle of bourbon. It's
Yeah.
like one
Huh.
of the best. It's pretty smooth.
You
Tastes
mentioned
good.
Four Roses. That's
Four
one,
Roses
that's one
is
of my
good too.
go-tos.
Yeah, Four Roses is good.
But yeah.
I'm not a
So-
huge bourbon drinker, but
No?
like, the first bourbon I ever drank was Pappy's, and then after that I was like, I don't
Van
really like.
Winkle?
Yeah, it
Dude.
was good. There's a doctor that I worked with, and
But
he
you
was
probably
like,
didn't even like. It's your first bourbon.
it was actually pretty good.
Yeah?
I don't know. I mean, it's like all of this stuff though. If you just drink it straight, is like it's like rocket fuel.
Sure.
So,
We got to develop that palate.
but it does the job.
I want some Pappies. Never had it.
Pappy's is good.
It's hard to get and expensive.
Yeah, people steal trucks full of it so they can sell it on the black market
And make
stuff,
$1 billion.
so- Yeah.
I'm actually going to use this opportunity to refill my Jack and Coke.
Go ahead.
But let me ask you a question so that we can proceed
Yeah,
with
Do
the
you want me to
interview.
finish my transition story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we rabbit trail like crazy.
Yeah, it's
so.
cool. But
Yeah.
Pull us
let me.
back.
So, I like it just because I like to talk about my wife because she's awesome. Essentially, what happened was we moved here. I was miserable. We were a couple of years into the job, and she looked at me and she was like, "Hey, we were high school sweethearts," and she said, "You've been writing songs since you're 15. You're miserable. We're in Nashville. You might as well go play somewhere." And that started so she literally like kicked me out of the house to play music.
That's
when
awesome.
I had like a really good paying job, and then, and things have just snowballed from there. So
Oh, man.
yeah, it's been good.
So how long have you been doing that here? How long have you been playing here in Nashville?
So
You said you've been writing since 15.
writing since I was 15, but yeah, playing. I've been in Nashville. I've lived here for 8 years. Probably playing in Nashville for 5 or 6 years, but I quit my job officially, like, almost 3 years. In November of 2015 is when I quit. So,
Yeah.
sorry, I do this when I'm thinking of
That's fine.
where things are.
That's perfect. I'm doing it too, and you can't see it because it's behind the laptop.
There you go.
But hey, Mosca, thanks for coming to hang out. And Real Chase Lemon, another co-stringer.
Chase Lemon.
I'm not jealous. I like my beard.
Yeah,
He said
I
I'd be a
can't.
little jealous of his
Mine's
beard.
it grows in white trashy like this. I can't do the full side beard, so I'm a little.
Stick with the goatee.
I'm envious. Yeah, I guess you gotta do what I
Is
can.
that the official? Is that actually a goatee, or is a goatee when there's no?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know. That's just the term I know.
Yeah,
But-
it is what it is.
Are we doing that one first, right? No. Okay, you're just no.
My
okay.
daughter calls it a beard.
A beard.
Yeah, she just always has for whatever reason. She didn't say the word very well when she was
How old is your daughter?
She is 5.
That's fine then.
Yeah, a beard.
That's appropriate that she would know how to say
Yeah,
beard.
but like in she turns 6 in September, and we're reaching the line where it's not appropriate. anymore.
Enunciate those
Yeah.
D's.
You're like,
Yeah. When you're 10 and you say beard, people are like, "Something wrong with your kid? What's going on?"
when you're 6, she's cute. Would you mind passing me that Jack and Coke I poured but didn't grab
yeah.
for some
There
reason?
it is.
Left on the floor.
Correct.
There you go.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
Nashville and songwriting. Talk to me about. Actually, let's come back to Nashville because Nashville is you moving from orthopedic orthopedic
Right hand man.
right hand man to full time songwriting. But let's backtrack. How did you start writing songs in the first place?
I mean, like the same way everybody does, it's for the girl. That's what you started it. But also, I think I realized that like it was good therapy for me. So I always just did it for myself, starting out. Like even to the time when we moved here, and I've always had a guitar around or whatever, and I would write something. And like my wife loves the songs I wrote in high school. They're like
Were
bad.
they all for her?
The majority of them were. Yes.
We'll say all.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
100%. Never wrote a
So-
song for another girl.
Yeah. So
They were at least inspired by her,
They were
even
inspired.
if they weren't.
So it was I think just one of those things where I just realized like, okay, this is good for me as like a person or whatever. And then, I went to college. I'm one of 7 kids. So
Damn.
I was like, my parents couldn't pay for college because 7 kids, you can't pay for college, right?
Sure.
Oh, it's just
I
a
was,
cool $1 million.
yeah, unless you're Kevin McAllister or whatever the kid from Home Alone is. His
Or that big old house.
Yeah, but I don't know why people haven't like looked into that. Like, how did that guy? What was his job that he could afford that huge ass house
He's definitely a criminal.
Yeah.
and like
sometime.
fly them on a vacation? And then, like, aside
All
from
to
forgetting your kid,
Rome.
I can actually, as a one of 7, I can understand forgetting a kid. But how can you afford a big house like that? That's a bigger question in my mind.
How did you afford to get the first 6 there?
Yeah,
I don't
what are
know
you
about
doing?
the house, but like my family all went on a trip to Rome, and we're
That's true.
poor as hell.
Yeah.
We just happened upon some money.
That's
what you do.
That's what your family does. Your family happens upon some money, and
then
it's like
blows
everyone's
it.
going to Disneyland for a week.
We're
After
doing
that, we'll go
Magic
back to being
Kingdom,
poor.
Animal Kingdom. What do you guys want?
Whoa, Disneyland.
Land,
Thank you very
oh.
much. Whew, Disney World doesn't even compare.
Oh, it's way better. Compare it all.
Does that beep from the computer?
I think it was your phone.
Oh,
And
Commander
that
Root,
tone
thanks for
means
the follow.
it's time to.
I love the follower notification.
It's
Thanks
time
the
for a
follow.
follower jig, everybody.
That's right.
I thought I had it muted. It took
We could do
alarmed
that.
me.
Nobody, each guest. We do this, but each guest it's their first time. We could be like, oh, this is when the guest does a follower's jig,
Oh yeah,
and you wouldn't know. You'd have to jig.
that's right. I think I need more. I didn't get the ratio right.
Okay, so we're
why
gonna
we got a whole
talk
bottle.
more.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about how Jake went from orthopedic right-hand man to full-time songwriter, but I think this is about the time that we should
Play a song.
play a song
Play a
so
song?
people know what it is that you do.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, are you starting with...
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, we'll announce later on, we're going to be doing one of Jake's songs in a first ever on the internet kind of way. And what we're actually doing is we're putting him through an analog reel-to-reel tape recording machine from the 1970s, and we're going to bring it on screen, and you'll see it. And he's going to be playing, and it's going to go through the tape machine and then back and shot over the internet to you. And I know it's never been done before, because why would you do this?
But it's going to be cool, though.
But it's going to be cool. And so you're going to get to hear an instantly vintaged up sound of Jake Anderson. So you're going to hear him in a pure way now, and then
But
later
authentically vintage.
we're
Not
gonna
like
hear him.
Instagram filter.
It's really cool, guys.
Correct.
It's really cool.
real vintage. And so that I think this is an internet first. So
Sure.
you'll be right here to witness it.
All right. So what are you
So I'm gonna play a song called from the duo from the Simple Truce, and obviously the duo is not here, just me. But so I'm moved keys and I'm gonna do my version of it. So then we can, I guess, talk about it after or whatever.
Cool.
So it's called Be Right Here. Door slams, wall shakes. Sometimes love is an earthquake. Cold air, front steps. White steam chasing what's left. Rising up, it slowly disappears. Never even hits your ears. You're so good at getting gone. Same words, same fight. Guess we're gonna be out all night. Sun's up, looks like we're gonna push it down one more time. I smile, but it's hard to pretend. We're not waiting till those tires spin out again. You're so good at getting gone. You're so good at getting gone, thinking I got it all wrong. You're running out on what is real. Ain't gonna fix the way that this feels. So if you wanna be right here. If you wanna be right here. If you wanna be right here.
All right. We had to unmute us there for a sec. So, can you give us the title of that song again?
Be Right Here.
And this is from The Simple Truth.
The Simple Truce. Yeah.
Truce.
So
Truce. I always want to say truth.
it's the Jack and Coke. Yeah. My wife is in marketing, and she's like, "Hey, that's not a very good name." And I was like, "I like it."
I like it.
What, and why is it not a good name?
Oh, just because you have to spell it for the rest of the time you're a band.
See, I understand that because no one ever knows my name.
Yeah.
Because I go, Jerry, they go, Jerry? And I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to correct people
right.
for my entire life.
What we're going to probably end up doing is getting like a chalkboard or a banner, and then, it's just easier. You don't have to
And
say
then for
it.
anyone who can read,
Yeah.
you're covered.
That's right.
Which is at least half the people.
Yeah, if people can read, then typically they know how to use an iPhone or something, they can buy the song.
So
we can find The Simple Truth at
Truce.
Truce.
Truce. You just did it.
Truce. Truce. Because it feels like if I'm saying truce, I'm saying simple truth with a lisp. And so my brain's like, no!
That's actually why we picked the name. Specifically for that reason, for Ryan.
It's the simple truth, you guys. So you can find the simple Truce at at the simple Truce on Instagram.
Yep.
And also the
TRUCE.
Facebooks.
On Facebook, yeah, everything.
And you guys are
Simple
recording
Truce.
an album right now of some
We
kind.
are, yeah. So
Or an
we
EP.
have
Which one?
EP. Yeah, EP.
Number of songs?
5 or 6. So it's an EP.
Yeah.
We have 4 done, and we've got 1 or 2 more. So we're just, kind of in that process right now. So that's why we've stopped. I guess it's a good time to talk about the videos and stuff like that. So we do videos online and things like that. And what we typically do, the fun thing for us is like we write these songs. We've been writing together for 3 years, and we're just kind of like, sometimes you write a song and if you write enough songs, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I have to look back. I don't remember the song anymore. So we write them and we pick the ones we like, and then we go back like a week or 2 later and just turn a camera on and learn the song in front of the camera. So we'll get a good live take all the way through. But then I also chop up all the stupid stuff that we say or the flubs and all the other stuff, and I compile them into a nice 30-second to 1 minute video of
We
us.
actually have that up so you guys can see what that looks like.
Yeah, you guys want to see it?
So we've got.
What does the mob say?
So this is your
I don't know, I
Instagram.
tabbed them out on the other page.
My mob.
But this is what it is. So most of these look like they are these videos you're talking about.
So if you do the black and white ones, I think those are the B-roll videos.
Is there one you want to actually?
Do like, I don't know which ones are which. So click on that guy right there.
This one?
Yeah, this is
That guy is you.
Wow.
is me.
So I don't think we're able to hear it. It should be coming through.
Walking away real slow.
Dude, soon it's gonna be long enough that I can
They can hear
put it back.
Like I don't care. Maybe that
Down,
insurance
up.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a song actually. This one is going to be
Okay,
on
you're
the
good. Okay.
on the
Did you have
album,
These voices in my head.
and
Move the
Getting out of
right
lane.
kind of stuff
to the right
You
one.
knew
So
what
that
I
one.
was
somewhere.
thinking.
Oh,
You
and
might
the other
think
one.
I'm crazy.
And then press
This
the
That's still going.
makes sense.
Cuts out.
up a little
I
bit.
know I can't
Yeah, so it's little snippets from different takes, or just us getting ready. So I turn the camera on, and then it's me trying to tell her like,
I just wanna head south and buzz right
where
through
she
the
can see me, and I'm just
border.
going like this.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's about right.
You put
Now
these
it's
out all
looping.
the time.
Walking away real slow.
Yeah, so we were
Dude,
doing
soon
like
it's
1
gonna be
week
long
for
enough
about
that I can
2 or 3
put it
months.
back.
Like I don't care.
They're not hearing it. Sure. But definitely, if you guys want to see more of that,
And then
go.
wait, can you
oh,
play the song?
Yeah,
now?
so play.
that
So the
the-
next one,
the next one that's
on the other
colored?
side.
So black and white. Before you hit play, black and white is B-roll, and then the next color version is the song itself.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So let's play the song, and we'll shut up until it's done.
Sometimes I just wanna head south and buzz right through the border. Hit that ticket counter, get on board the first flight going anywhere. Sometimes I dream about setting this sorry place on fire, walking away real slow while it all goes up in smoke like I don't care. Maybe that insurance check will be worth more than all this mess. These voices in my head are getting louder lately. If you knew what I was thinking, you might think I'm crazy. They're starting to make sense. I know I can't give in, but maybe sometimes.
That was the loop, right?
That was
I
the
think-
loop, yeah.
Thought it was. Okay. So there you go. There you guys go. That is.
So we're gonna come back to talking about the simple Truce and how that came to be, but let's rewind for a second
All right.
because I imagine you started songwriting and doing that in Nashville before you met.
Yeah,
What is your partner's name in the simple
Rachel
Truce?
Taylor. So if you like, she's on. Yeah, we're both individual artists.
And you've come together and made.
We've
a
come
truce.
together. Yes, it's a truce.
A simple
Yeah,
one.
a simple truce. We would just like simple things, and
I'd
we
like
both.
to see that contract and see if it's truly simple.
It is simple. But it is one of those things, I think, with that in particular, that I think we were both just kind of like sick of like trying to play the game and get cuts and write what people want to write or whatever. So it was like, let's just simplify things and do what we want to do. And yeah, we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, you're a orthopedic right-hand man, TM, and you have moved to Nashville with a 1-month-old, and you're doing a job at Emory University, and you.
Wait, I thought. Oh, this is
Right?
pre
And you're
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, well, I was
it's a
at Vanderbilt
university?
when I moved here. So I was
Okay,
actually,
Vanderbilt.
I worked
Okay.
some at actual Vanderbilt, but mostly I worked in Franklin, which is where I live. So the reason I live in Franklin actually is that the office that I was working at was in Franklin.
Oh.
So it was a group of it was 12 at the time, surgeons, and they've grown since. And then actually, random story, but they left Vanderbilt and started their own practice and now operate out of Williamson Medical Center.
This leads me to a random story.
So anyway, but yeah, that was the gist of
Yeah.
that.
Ironically, when I moved here, I had a job lined up in audio. I had purposely taken a job in San Diego when I graduated from school. Before I graduated, I knew I was moving to Nashville to pursue producing. And so I lined up a job at Swank Audio Visual that worked at like AV for hotels. And I was doing that in San Diego because they had a branch in Nashville and I could transfer. And that was my whole plan. And I saved up money working there. And then, okay, I'm transferring, so I have a job here already. Moving across country, why not have a job? And I moved here, went to my first day where they toured me around the facilities. And then it was great facilities, awesome location. They take me to the calendar at the end of it, and they're like, hey, here's where we're going to need you. And this is like, let's say June 4th-ish is when I moved to Nashville, 2012. Right. They said, okay, so we're going to need you like June 27th. I'm like, it's a long time before I start. And the 28th. And then it looks like might be a date in July, and then in August, there's like it's a big month. We're going to have a string of like 5 for you. Okay, I was getting paid $16 an hour. I mean, I was not getting salary.
Not quite a full-time job.
Correct. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, at that point in time, I spent more on my the house I was renting than I meant to, just because it was a cool setup. And I had like $300 left. I was like, I really moved here cash light, but I knew I had a job, so it was going to be okay.
Light. That just means broke.
Yeah.
Cash light. Don't church it up, man.
Yeah. and so, but I knew I had a job. All of a sudden, I didn't have a real job. I had some bull crap. I had gigs, not a job. They lied. And so,
you had gigs.
So I had to get a job immediately, and I was like, what could I do? And I remembered my friend Brenton Ward had been a courier at some point. And I'm like, that sounds like a cool job. I drive around. I love driving. Why not? And so I searched courier jobs on Craigslist, found a courier job, applied, got it. And so I was a courier for like 6 months in Nashville before I broke out and went into studio work. And it was this weird tangent I did. But the reason I bring it up is because I was a medical courier delivering IV bags to clients. And so I drove all the way as far west as Jackson, Tennessee, which for the non-Tennesseans is 2 hours west. And as far east as Knoxville, which is about 3.5 hours east.
Yep.
And as far south and as far north as you can go in the state, a few times to Kentucky, whatever. But basically all of Tennessee, I would just drive around IV bags, work for the most horrible people of all time, made okay money. But I went to Vanderbilt many, many times to pick up boxes and then deliver them to clients.
Interesting.
And so anyway, I too moved here in the medical field.
Aha, there you go.
I am
Weirdly
a
enough,
doctor.
No, but I worked at the Art Institute before moving out here, and part of my thinking as we knew we were going to move was, there's also an Art Institute in Nashville. Maybe I can transfer there. That didn't work.
That didn't work out.
Yeah. Similar kind of deal.
That's what I say when I take stuff back to Walmart.
Policies. Wouldn't it have been great if the Art Institute had said, hey, we've already trained this guy to do this job. We should
send him
transfer
on over.
him. But they had a policy saying you couldn't transfer within a year
there was
or something like that.
And then also my job was like a temporary deal. And so there was like, man, you might go to full time though. But then when that time came, they're like, But nah, no, we don't need
Yeah,
that.
but
They were
no.
getting sold at the time and trying to save
Yeah.
money. But hi, Karinsky23.
What's up?
Hey, Liz, can you do me a favor and yell at Floppy for me? We need him here.
It's true.
So-
Yeah, I've been looking. I listened to some of the podcasts before, and I was really looking forward to meeting Floppy Dongus.
As we all are. So,
I mean, how can you not meet somebody with a name like that?
Krinsky23, for the record, is my sister.
My wife.
Ah,
That's where this connection is.
there we go.
Though technically I knew Ryan before I ever met her.
It's true.
Oh.
He met her through me.
Yeah,
I invited
Liz.
him to my 22nd birthday because we had hung out at the abandoned mines in Julian. A story for another time.
This was the abandoned Air Force base in Japan.
yeah.
Oh, the abandoned Air Force base.
There's all
long
kinds of
before
random-
we explored abandoned mine shafts.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a real random story?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, and her husband met because of me. And it was specifically so I was a valet in undergrad when I worked when I was at UCF in Florida, and
Wait, what is University
Central
of
Central
Central
Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
I mean, we're
So-
used to UC, meaning University of
California.
California.
Yeah, UCF.
So I just heard
Central
University
Florida.
of California, Florida.
Perez?
Yeah, Fresno. UCF is Fresno.
Yeah, Fresno.
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
So UCF and so I had this job working at like the Disney and Epcot resorts as a valet.
cool.
It was great. It was really great money or whatever. And Melissa, my sister-in-law, was coming, and I was like, "Hey, I can get you a job." Because, like, you know, and I had a stick. I was like, I'll teach you how to drive a stick shift, and then you can drive Bentleys and Maseratis and stuff. And
Not crash. them.
and yeah, it's a great job. And I was making, you know, for a valet in those places, you make on a good night like $400 or $500.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great
Do
for
you
a
think-
college kid.
Did the people who drove the best cars pay the best, tip the best?
Some, yeah. Like the best tip I ever got, I got $100 tip. It was a guy in a Bentley, a Rolls Royce Phantom, and he pulled up in the middle of the ramp, and our ramp manager was like, and we all tip shared or whatever, but it was like one of those nights where it was just super busy, and he was like, "You cannot park your car here," and he's like, "Well, nobody's gonna drive my car except for me because it's a Rolls Royce, and no."
Yeah.
And he's like,
It's like a $400.
he's like, "Well, then you can go park it in self park or whatever," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either." And so
I want a Rolls Royce Phantom now. Just
Yeah.
to do this.
so he's like, "Yeah, nobody's gonna do that either, and I'm not gonna move it, and you're not gonna move it. It's gonna stay right here." And he's like, because he just like pocketed his keys and he was walking inside, and the manager goes after that, he goes, "Well," he puts his hand out like this and he goes, "I'm sure we could work something out." And the guy drops him $100. He goes inside, and then as soon as he's inside, I can't speak now. This is the Jack and Coke, guys.
Hideout.
As soon as he's inside, the guy goes, "Get out the cones." And we just put cones and we diverted traffic around the Rolls Royce Phantom
Just
until he
not-
came back out.
That's
And just
amazing.
held on to his keys, but we did not move it.
I want a Rolls Royce Phantom.
Yeah. They're
So
really
you can do
nice.
that. You know you could do that with your car. Too.
It's like driving a yacht.
Yeah?
You can do that with any car if you just
Just-
give the guy $100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can do that with like a 1999 Corolla with 300,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
If
but you
just pay
wouldn't-
enough.
But you wouldn't be like, "Yeah, nobody can drive my 99 Corolla."
But now, kind of, don't
No,
you
I'm
want to
not.
do that specifically? It's a
Yeah.
classic.
I would love
Yeah.
to do that.
So, where the story was going is that
Yeah.
my sister-in-law, I specifically told her when I got her a job there, I said, "You cannot date anybody that works here." To which she replied, "Oh, I'm going to date and seriously get involved with one of the guys who's a manager," and now they're married.
At
and
least
they
it's
live
an
in Austin.
upgrade.
Yeah, it is
Manager.
an upgrade. And actually, he stayed with the company, and maybe he is moving on. I don't know what he's doing exactly, but he's been with the company for like 15 years and is like a district manager, and like he essentially like is in charge of all of Texas for this company. It's kind
Oh,
of crazy.
man.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
So
So when you
So he's
were
a
you able to get
mayor?
in?
like you don't hear those stories
He's in
anymore.
charge of all of Texas.
all of
That makes
Texas
him a mayor.
for that, yeah,
He's
of
the-
Town Park.
So were you able to get into the Disney parks for free?
Some of them are the golf courses and things like that.
Oh, that's
I was
rad.
not a Disney employee. I was a Town Park employee. So sometimes we got perks if there was things. Sometimes we didn't. But
Okay.
honestly, when you live in Florida, going to Disney is like going to the beach, or you know, like you just don't do it very often because you live there and you work there. And
I mean, when I lived in San Diego, I went to Disneyland a lot.
if you're a college student in Orlando, you go to SeaWorld because
Really?
they had the beer tent and stuff like that. And like my roommate said it the best, I think. Like when Facebook first came out, he put up a some post, and it was essentially something along the lines of admission to SeaWorld, $60. Admission to the beer tent and learning to appreciate Anheuser-Busch beer, $10. Enjoying Shamu like you're 5 years old again, priceless.
That does sound like a dream.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You know, no, it wasn't you. You had work that day. Me and my sister, his wife, and my studio manager, Leah, who you both know, went to SeaWorld when Leah briefly lived in San Diego.
Lived in San Diego.
She lived there for 3 months. She felt like she had moved.
That's a visit.
It's a visit.
It was a long visit.
Extended visit.
She feels like she lived. She's not watching, so you know.
Did she sign a lease?
No, she lived at somebody's house.
If you didn't sign a lease, you didn't live there.
Good. I'll bring that up to her. So
sorry, Leah. I love you, but that's just the way it goes.
You know, I don't think she even listens to the podcast.
She hopped in one.
One.
Yeah, I know. What's she even doing?
I don't know. You should cut that part out and just send it to her.
Yeah, directly. Listen.
It was really great of you to visit for 3 months, though. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's longer than most visits.
It's longer than your average visit. 3 months. A quarter of a year.
So on her longer than normal visit, we went to SeaWorld and found out that they were in San Diego and found out that they were retiring the Shamu show, number one, to turn it into some like bullshit. Organic orca adventure station, free range orcas, where you just observe them in their posh environment, but they do not do tricks. And we were watching like in the last year of the show, which is very depressing, number one. Number two, before the show, they showed us the video screen, and on the video screen it was showing all the like highlight clips. Oh man, Shamu's jumping through the water 50 feet with a person on its back who jumps off and does a backflip onto a dolphin, and fucking fireworks fly out.
That sounds like magic.
And that's how it was.
We saw when we were kids. Okay, then the show started for me as a like 29-year-old man at the time, and 29-year-old man still, and not one person rode that damn whale. Like, they have gotten rid of it because apparently some trainer got eaten. And so now
some trainer got eaten, he says with quotation marks.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault. Look, first of all, you watch those trainer behind the stories, they're always like
torturing the whale
whole life. No. I'm saying, oh sure, but I'm saying the good ones. They're like,
the good ones,
they're like, I've dreamed of this since I was 7. This is all I ever wanted to do. So Mr. Trainer, do you ever worry about the dangers of working with killer whales? They're like, no. I hope that I die in the embrace of a whale.
I think they said
Embrace of a whale.
No, it's like anyway, they're just.
Hey man, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
They're always like, this is what I love. If the whale kills me, it's because he needed to. I've dreamed of this day my whole life. And that's what that guy was at. And then he signed a waiver, it's all on me. And then he died. When he got to heaven, he was like, I died doing what I loved. And then some asshole in his family was like, SeaWorld, you shouldn't do this anymore because people died, and if I could save one person by ruining everyone's fun, I would love to.
Problem is that they're not going to save the person that they wanted to save.
Yeah, he's in heaven, loving that he died in the arms of a killer whale or the mouth, depending on how it went down. The point is, they did the show, and not one person got in the water. They were just like, here's a fish, throw it, and Shamu's like jumped, and I'm like, why did you show us the highlight reel? First of all, last time I was at SeaWorld, I was like 6. I wouldn't have remembered that crazy, phenomenal magic happened. I would have thought that was just childhood fantasy, and I'd see it now, and I'd be like, oh.
It wasn't as cool as I remembered.
It wasn't as cool as I remembered. But no. And so, anyway, I just really resonate with what you said about experiencing SeaWorld like you're 5.
That really hit
Yeah.
you right here, didn't it?
Yeah, in the heart. I had my
That's
6th
right.
birthday at SeaWorld.
Yeah, I
really loved
I would
that.
have loved that.
I'll slow down on the Jack and Coke. Tell us how you became a songwriter, Jake Anderson.
Yeah. I just did it. Like most things, you just do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
man.
but what does that look like? There are people in our audience right now
People out
they
there.
are also orthopedic right-hand man or electricians at Soul Event Electronics, or HMS.
Try to reference one specific person. That's what's happening.
No,
One
just
specific
anybody
person.
who happens to be
So-
an electrician at HMS.
It literally was
Who wants to be full-time in music. How do you make that transition?
it was something I had to do. Honestly, it was something that I had
Just
to
for your
do.
own sanity.
For my own sanity and like me leaving what I was doing, it worked really well for our family. And it took a lot of planning and a lot of other stuff. It wasn't like an overnight thing where I just said, I'm going to quit my job at Vanderbilt and go write songs. And we didn't have that kind of nest egg built up. So we saved for a long time. At first I needed to do the work and figure out am I actually good at this?
Kind of important.
Yeah. And in Nashville is a good place to if you are thinking about moving to a place like Nashville, the reason to do it isn't because you think, oh, I'm going to become some famous music person. I'm going to become a famous artist. I'm going to be Luke Bryan. I'm going to do whatever. That's a great aspiration to have. However, the reason to come to Nashville, I believe, is to actually improve. Because there's
Yeah,
at least 10 people that I know personally that are better than me at everything that I do in whatever avenue that is.
Yeah.
And so it forces me as a person, especially since I kind of feel like I started late because I put music down kind of in college and whatever and did this whole other professional life. It was something that, for me, it's like playing catch up. So it also makes me very focused and also grateful for the opportunity that I have, that we're in a position where I can do it and I don't have to do anything else but be a dad and play music and write music and, do stuff like that. So, but it was definitely being surrounded by people who are incredible at what they do and people who are, great songwriters, great musicians, great producers, great everything. You learn stuff from them and it just sharpens you. So if you view it from that standpoint and you just kind of say okay, this isn't the, if you're a fighter, right? This isn't the octagon.
And
This
I
is,
am.
yeah, I can see that. So this isn't the octagon. Nashville's not the octagon. This isn't the place you come to get famous and make money. This is the place you come to get really good at whatever it is you want to do. And then you go out of Nashville and play for people and show them what you learned. So, hey guys.
We're now live on Instagram
It got me
and live
What?
on Twitch.
ooh.
Confusing. Floppy
Fantastic.
Dongus just stopped
Floppy
by.
Dongus is
Floppy
here.
Dongus!
Dude, Floppy Dongus.
The hero of the podcast.
I have been waiting to meet you. I listened to the first podcast and there's a lot of hullabaloo about your name. So anyway,
Hullabaloo.
it's
Yeah.
good. It's good to meet you.
There was a day, I'm assuming, Floppy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a day when Floppy Dongus had to decide his name.
Yeah.
Whatever your real name is.
That's an inflection moment,
Steven,
man.
Tanner. And Floppy was like, what's my name? And he thought of Floppy Dongus and he's like, that's funny, but is that going to be weird or not? How are people going to respond? If Floppy, if you have that kind of self-doubt as I and many other people do. And
I don't
then
know
all
what
of a
you're talking
sudden
about.
Floppy was like, fuck it. I'm doing Floppy Dongus. And,
You did it, man.
And fame abounds.
and
You did
fame
it.
abounds. And
You
now,
did it, and you're
look
doing
how
it
it's
well.
paid off on
It's
our
great, man.
podcast. Everybody knows Floppy
Dude,
Dongus.
Floppy Dongus is cheers to you, brother.
Joining us on Instagram Live is Christian Garcia.
I didn't know we were going Instagram.
Oh, we are. We're on Twitch and Instagram.
We're live everywhere.
Baby J Andress, About Brie, and Hiquit's Photo,
That's
a.k.a.
cool.
Heather Hiquitz, who is visiting for NAMM. It happens to be NAMM week in
It is
Nashville,
NAMM
Tennessee
week.
right
Yeah.
now.
This is for all the gearheads.
Absolutely.
You went today.
Heather's
Did you go
husband,
today?
Kevin loaned me a guitar to make the
I didn't
Dawson
know.
Hollow
He went
record.
today.
I went to NAMM today, and it was super cool. I ran into Kevin Equitz and his wife Heather, and several friends, Clifton Worley, and oh crap, the guy whose name I forgot, who had to remind me that I knew him. Nick, maybe.
Yep.
Yep. Jury says yes. And we had a great time. NAMM is... Here, let's set this down so I can focus. NAMM is, for those who don't know, like the ultimate music. It's like the Comic-Con of music. And so there's guitar vendors like Fender and Gibson.
It's the National Association of Music
Yeah.
Merchants.
It's a place
National
that you go
Association of
to spend a lot of money.
Yes. Or like I did, talk to a lot of people who you think are famous because you're a nerd and then get their cards so it looks like maybe you'll spend money with them, but you can't.
Yeah.
This
let it
seems
go.
like a good time for a very serious Jake Anderson song with that.
Very
Very
serious.
serious.
Yeah,
No,
what
I'm
about
just
that mark?
No, I think at that point we're probably ready for
All
another
right.
song.
Yeah, let's do another one. Cool. I'm in.
Are you
So-
gonna do through the tape machine before you get too drunk
Yes.
to be able to do it?
Are we
Palmer
gonna do that?
Elliott joined. I don't know if Elliott Palmer is still on here. Hold on, I have to give a special shout out. Elliott
Floppy
Palmer.
says it's a pleasure to meet you
It
and
says
be
he's
so
on the
famous.
internet.
You as well,
Elliot
Floppy
Palmer,
Dongus.
people.
Dangus.
Elliott Palmer was my best friend in high school. This is my current best friend, Elliott. You can meet him. His name's Jury. He's also my brother-in-law.
Yep.
Anyway, so I've got to move this. Instagram, I'm getting off. Thank you. Goodbye.
We're going to do something cool that's never been done, I guess.
On the entire internet.
It's awesome to be like a first of something.
Yeah. Can you move it back a little?
Like this?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's-
little
Wait, which way? This way?
and yeah.
Okay.
So rough with it, man.
I know. Jeez, you're gonna break it.
Golly.
I bought it. So,
I guess that means
Tis.
you can break it.
We're going to do a little studio magic here, guys.
so dear internet.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
you
think
do the Pro
no one
Tool
can
stuff.
see me. Oh, you can see me a little.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
there.
this is called a reel-to-reel machine. It's fully analog, as they say in the business. And that those two reels right there, it's like a ginormous tape cassette. And this is how people recorded and listened to music back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 1970s Akai machine. And we're going to have Jake play is going through his microphones into the computer and then back out to that tape machine and then back into the computer and to the internet. And so, with all that being said, you're going to notice there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, a bit of
so
delay from the-
for
from the
this
video and the
one
audio.
song, you're going to see that Jake is delayed and you're going to see him play and the audio's coming later. But the advantage is you're going to see it like an Instagram filter, except the real equivalent. You're going to hear him sounding instantly a little bit like it's an old recording. So,
Sure. And I think you'll hear it. So
yeah.
Yeah. It's a really cool, we call it color a lot of times, or
Yes.
a feel or something like that in production. So
I'll let you press
It's,
all the
So, Jury, I'm going to tell you what to
Kinda
do so I don't have
vintagey
too much of an
feeling.
audio pause.
Okay.
Unmute the guitar and verb.
Yep.
Okay, now mute mix. It's the pink channel.
Yep. Tape in. Done. So it should be going now.
Yep.
And mute us, right?
Jake, can you play? Let me just check. It's working.
All right. I'm gonna
Check
go ahead
one,
and mute
two.
us. So all you'll hear is Jake.
You're just like smoke. You were never really there. I'd light you up, breathe you in just to watch you disappear. Just like smoke. The fleeting moment where you lived was just between my lips and the burning end of a cigarette. Just like smoke. I still taste you on my tongue, smell you long after you're gone. Just like smoke, you linger on my skin. I'll always be your addict, but I won't reach for you again. 'Cause there's nothing real that's left for me to hold. just like smoke. You're just like smoke. Took the breath right out of me, left me with a heavy chest, gasping for better air to breathe. Just like smoke. I wanna feel you when I'm lonely, but it's a temporary fix, a trick that only burns me slowly. Just like smoke. I still taste you on my tongue, smell you in the hallway, long after you're gone. Just like smoke. You linger on my skin. I'll always be your addict, but I won't reach for you again, 'cause there's nothing real that's left for me to hold. You're just like smoke. Well, it'd be so damn easy if I had found you in a glass. I'd be cursed in your hangover instead of craving one more drag. Just like smoke. I still taste you on my tongue, smell you in the hallway, still makes me come undone. Just like smoke. You linger on my skin. I'll always be your addict, but I won't reach for you again, 'cause there's nothing real that's left for me to hold. It's your memory that hangs here like a ghost. You're just like smoke.
Keep going. What do you want to keep going?
That was so cool.
On my skin, I'll always be your addict, but I won't reach for you again, 'cause there's nothing. You're just like smoke.
Thanks.
And
Cool.
unmute us. And mute guitar.
I was just showing everybody the magic of analog tape.
That's how we
and
do
how
it.
I can destroy it.
And mute verb.
Mute the verb, yeah. Mute
And
the
raw-
guitar.
this
You're
one?
good. You're good. Yeah.
ROM sound.
Yep.
Mute. Okay. I don't know why they detached
Oh,
it.
stay in Pro Tools. Cool.
Oh, that's
We're
all right.
good to
We're good.
talk.
Okay. So. Oh, you went back to Pro Tools.
Do you want to move your tape machine?
Oh, yeah, you gotta get that
I
out of
will.
the frame. Good
Oh,
call.
I'm on it, bro. I know what to do with tape
He's
machines.
got it.
okay?
I guess we're going to talk about it, though. We might as well leave it there.
Yeah, we should. This is a
tape machine?
1970. I don't know that we'll talk much more about
Yeah, I was
this,
like, more
but
interested in hearing about
as you've
song.
heard, with this 1970s Akai tape machine, it sounds very vintage and old. I had it in the headphones. It sounds really cool.
Can they hear you without the mic?
Not very good, but okay.
He's coming,
All right.
he's coming through.
Cool. A little bit.
Yeah, he's coming through. It's like, it's fine.
It's cool.
So yeah, Jake, what's that song about?
That song is, well, I mean, it's actually not my story. So I wrote that with an artist named Katrina Burgoyne, and she just released a single on Spotify beginning of this month. So you can find that on Spotify or iTunes or whatever. I just said it.
Amazon.
Yeah. So it's all on all the things, and you know, it really was a story for her. It was the first time we ever wrote, but we had met like 2 years before that. And she lived in Australia at the time, so she was here for like 3 months, and then we met at like we played a house show randomly together, and we were gonna write while she was here, but then she had to go back to Australia, and she had something come up when we were supposed to write that was a, you know, like good opportunity. So I was like, you should do that,
Yeah.
you know. So she went back to Australia. She came back. We sat down in this room, and it was interesting because it's just life that happens. So like when you sit down in Nashville and you write like on Music Row or do a first co-write, we just do a lot of first dates. And so it's always that like awkward, you like, it's normal here to like sit down in a room with somebody you've never met before and bare your soul for 3 or 4 hours and then, just kind of like that's what we do.
Is that hard to get like used to at first? Because like for me, that's so alien.
It is a little bit. I think it just depends on how like open and vulnerable you're willing to be and like what you're trying to do. For me, it's a little different because I think that's like what makes me tick. So I also like don't necessarily write all the time like the bro country Nashville kind of stuff. So I mean, I have those
on the back porch drinking a beer, going to church on Sunday.
Sometimes you got to let the commerce pay for the art. So like I have a cut coming out next month with a guy, actually like next week. So next month technically, but it's like the 8th. This guy Houston Bernard cut a song. It's called "We Made Out." So it's a little different than what I normally do as an artist, but you write those kind of songs. So anyway, we sat down in this room and it was her, I was coming out of a kind of a weird place and she was, like mentally, and then she was, just had like transplanted herself from Australia to Nashville, Tennessee. Huge move and crazy. And like what she did to get here was insane. So she was here and you go through all the things that you go through when you move, like broken relationships and stuff like that. It's not like you can just go see your mom anytime you want. Or like for her, it was a boyfriend. So she had a boyfriend that she moved here and like it was the first time she's had a boyfriend in a long time, really liked this guy. But she moved to Nashville because this was her dream and this is what she wanted to do. And as much as he tried to be supportive for her, I think that it was just, it's hard to do that long distance, especially like half a world away. And so I think a lot of that song is just about the expectations that you put on a relationship or anything else at the beginning, and then when you realize that it's kind of like vapor, like sometimes the person that you're in a relationship isn't capable of giving you the thing that it is you actually need. And so you want to grab onto that person, you want to hold that person, and in a literal sense that person wasn't there, but the idea of them was there, and it's like trying to hug smoke essentially.
Oddly enough, my when I was dating his sister, she moved to China for a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, it's tough.
What did you do? What did you do like to make her move? I'm assuming it was your fault.
No, it was already planned
It
before
absolutely
we started.
was his fault.
Flexing my papers
Was
and
his
stuff.
fault.
Get out of here. She was already planned. She was in a teaching program here.
Yeah.
And then decided to take a. He said, "Yeah, 1 second." And then she took a break from that to go teach for a year before coming back to complete it. So she was in China, which is literally the opposite side of the world, right? It's kind of the same deal because Australia is.
We care about you, Liz.
But the benefit though that I had was I knew she was coming back after a year,
right?
So it was a little easier to have something to hold on to as opposed to because I assume she moved here assumedly forever.
Yeah.
Right. At least that's what the plan was.
I remember that time, and my sister was like, "I know for a fact in my soul of souls, I will marry Jerry Bird."
And
Maybe slightly less dramatic.
She was apparently right.
And yeah, meanwhile, Jerry's like, "Yeah, we'll see."
Yeah, we'll see.
It's like she's convinced to be married. We'll see if we get married. If she even
Thanks
comes
to the
back
host,
from
Chase
China.
Lemon. So we care about you too, Liz, and all your chats. But
I already told her that.
Without you,
when
it's
were
all
distracted.
for naught because you're the moderator. So
yeah, it's true.
Nothing matters if Liz isn't here.
yeah,
Everything matters. Oh, well, because she's the moderator? No, it means it matters more.
No, I said nothing matters
if she's not here.
If she's not
Liz
here.
isn't here. It's only because of Liz.
So we've heard a lot about your songwriting side. Now, do you perform much?
Yeah, so I've actually been like in a period of like writing and recording for the last, I guess since like October of last year, almost, I guess whatever that is, 9 months or something like that. I kind of took a step back. I was doing some stuff where I went to Maryland and Indiana and some other places and was playing some shows, and it's a ton of fun. But I think I just got into a place where I needed to step back and kind of get back to myself, and we started this duo project and some other things, and I think that it was a good step back because I've kind of gotten back to like where I'm finding my voice again.
Okay. So where you want to be. So are you guys as a duo intend on going out?
Yes,
playing
yeah,
town?
yeah. We're booking stuff now, so
Nice.
like we are, and the plan is to not play in Nashville that much actually. So,
Oh, really?
if you're out there listening and
Smart.
you're not in Nashville or even in surrounding areas of Nashville, like we're
Yeah.
we're really focusing on kind of like a 3 to 4 hour radius around
Oh, wow.
Nashville.
Yeah. I get it, but can you explain why?
Yeah, people
Well-
here won't understand, and neither do I.
Yeah, so this is called the Music Row podcast, and Music Row happens
Row
to be, hideout. That's right, we are hiding, in a sense, but not hiding because we're broadcasting.
It's true.
But anyway, so Music Row Hideout is located off Music Row, which is located in Music City, which can be a little bit overused as a term or whatever, but literally, like, this is probably a place in the world where most of the music is recorded.
That's actually very specifically why we didn't call ourselves Music City
Yeah.
something, because we saw it everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good move. I like it.
It
I like
was
it.
a little much.
Welcome to Music City Podcast.
Plus, like, outlaw country. If this is like
Yes.
possibly Waylon's studio,
Well, he
and-
owned the house. We know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep. That's why it's the hideout, is because outlaws hang out in hideouts.
that's cool. Yeah, that is why.
So Music City is overrun with people
So
playing.
you can imagine that there's a lot of songwriters here and singers and
Right.
people that want to be Luke Bryan and whoever else. And so that means that when you want to play, just like any business, right, supply and demand, the value of you playing in a bar or a venue or whatever else drops down significantly when you are trying to go somewhere. So like to make a living playing in Nashville is a really hard thing to do.
Just oversaturated.
It's just oversaturated. So it's just like anything though. It's like, an iPhone, that they set the price or whatever, but like if there was only 100 of them, they'd be worth a lot more money than they are, when they produce millions of them. So
So do you guys have anything set up right now that's coming up?
we are booking stuff now. We are doing some private events, so unfortunately we can't like broadcast
Yeah.
those and like
Sorry.
tell people. But we're also working on some other stuff. We played this really cool place as like a guest artist a few weeks ago called the Storytellers Museum. It's in Bon Aqua, which is about, I guess, an hour from here.
It's in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's in Tennessee. It's
Bon
Bon
Aqua.
Aqua. So it's if you go south on 65 and hit what's it called, the 840 is the road right there that goes up to 40. Yeah, other way. Go west, like you're going to Memphis. And before you hit 40, there's this town called Bon Aqua, and that is where Johnny Cash and a bunch of people lived, like Roy Orbison, and like they all bought these properties out
Where they
there.
formerly lived.
Yeah, where they formerly lived.
They're all dead.
So they're all dead now. However, these like guys that just really love their music or whatever bought a lot of their properties.
Oh, wow.
Really?
So there's a general
Do you know
store.
his name?
One is Brian and Chris Oxley are the guys that own the business, and they actually won like a Nashville Film Festival award or something for the video they did for their like the promo for their thing, the Storytellers Museum.
That's so cool. That's one thing about Nashville I think is different than almost anywhere else, is at least San Diego, which is my only other place I've lived, for comparison.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of
compared
history
to
here.
there, like, Nashville does such a good job of promoting and investing in itself. So just the idea that there's, like what you just said, I've never heard of these people, and yet there's these brothers who like preserve musical icons and run a festival and invest in the community. That's just something that's present here. This
Yeah.
investment in the community of music I don't know that it exists anywhere else.
And it's, these guys are doing a ton there because like you hear about like the Johnny Cash Museum here, which is cool. But
Yeah.
this is way more legit
Because you
because
actually own the property.
they actually own like Mama Cash's house. They own the general store. That's where they do the shows. We played at the general store. But then after the show, the guy was like, "Hey, we live at Johnny Cash's hideaway farm." And they have a
That's
huge
very thematic to our podcast.
they have a huge like barn and stuff like that they've turned into a venue. It's got sound, and they do like I think they're starting the summer series in the next couple weeks or whatever. So we were there. We played just a few songs in between somebody else's set because they invited us to come down. And it was really cool. And if they've got legitimate like his stuff and all his like they've got his house where he and June Carter lived. And so we're in there, and they're like, "You guys want to come back to the farmhouse and hang out after the show?"
Yeah.
So we were like, we'd be doing stuff, and I like, they were getting ready to kick off the summer series. So they had like, they own the One Piece at a Time car, if you know that song, the Johnny Cash. Like,
One piece of what?
One piece at a time. I bought it one piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. Like it's a song about a guy who worked for GM and couldn't afford to buy a Cadillac, so he just stole pieces of a Cadillac over the course of like 13 years and put his own Cadillac together. So he's got like seats from a 73
So it's a true story?
headlight. Yes, it's a true story. It's
That's
like so
amazing.
they have this guy's car that the song was written about.
That's amazing.
It's
You
the
know,
one
it'd be
piece that I
better
got.
if it had been a Rolls Royce Phantom.
Yeah, it would have been cool.
You can park that shit anywhere for $100.
Yeah, this is probably worth more than that though. This is one of a kind.
Well, especially, it's one of a kind and famous in a song.
Yeah.
A Johnny Cash song.
A Johnny Cash song, yeah. So we were like doing stuff. We were like sitting down in their living room, and we're just talking to them or whatever. And they have like they do tours through the house during the day, and they have like pieces from June Carter and pieces from Johnny Cash and whatever. And some of the family is supportive of like what they're doing. They don't own Johnny Cash trademark or the brand.
Yeah.
They haven't licensed it. So the guy who does the Johnny Cash Museum paid a bunch of money for the rights to use the name essentially because there's a trust that protects the brand essentially.
Yeah.
And so, but like all the stuff that's there, I mean, like hanging on the wall, it's like a letter to Johnny Cash's first wife's parents from Johnny Cash while he was in basic training, saying essentially like, I'm planning on marrying your daughter. Like I heard you are in favor of that. Like it's like all this stuff and like little things of personality and whatever else that are like legitimate, not like, hey, here's something that's signed by Johnny Cash or here's whatever, and like while we're walking around, like I'm sitting in the living room or we're standing on a place on the porch outside, and they're like, yeah, hey, we have a picture, and they pull out a book with pictures of the property, and they're like, Waylon Jennings like was standing right where you're or sitting right where you're standing in this picture right here.
Yeah.
Like it's really crazy.
So, how do I
I don't know. How do you?
I don't know how
How
do
do
you.
I?
I don't even know what your goal is.
I know.
I feel like you had a plan.
All I
and it fell
know
apart.
is that there's a picture that I'm 75% sure is Waylon Jennings sitting and recording guitar right there.
You should hang that in this room.
But you're not 100%
I
sure
should.
that's what
I'm
it is.
not 100% sure. There's no way to know because the room looks different, but it was a different era and they've remodeled the room, so it's really hard to prove.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, it looks like the right thing. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Okay, good. Good.
You should.
Thank you.
What you should do though is you should
Solution.
have it printed on that kind of fabric, and you should build a gobo, and make it functional art.
Functional art. Okay.
What is a gobo?
Problem solved. That's how
That's
I
the
do.
sound dampening panel
Oh,
on the
okay.
wall.
Gotcha.
Okay. Number 2. Recently, I, through a series of people, was able to go to Johnny Cash's recording studio in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is just for the non-Nashvilles, is about 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes north of where we are now. And it's his property. If you've seen Walk the Line,
Walk the line.
starring Joaquin Phoenix, it is where they show him like at his house where he's like going through all the crap, and June is there and June's family and all that.
Yep.
This is that property.
Huh.
Now his house actually burned down. Interesting story
Yes.
I learned there is
Yeah.
that
I think the guy from Bon
the
Aqua
Bee Gees.
owns that place too.
Really?
Yeah, so it was actually Roy or maybe it was the Bee Gees. They bought the property to turn it into a studio, and the wiring was old, and the house burnt down from
Yes.
that. And they essentially just said like, I guess this is not meant to be, and they just left it that way. So like the rubble is still there.
Oh, I didn't get to see that. I should have.
It's still there.
So it burned down.
This is that area in,
Yes.
Bon Aqua.
Yes, this is the place. So I heard.
Mama Cash's house is across the street.
Well, wait. I'm talking about Hendersonville. Are you talking about Bon Aqua still?
Yeah. So, but it's all right next to each other. It's really close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hickman
so-
County. It's Hickman County, and then Hendersonville is like a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a far drive.
So Johnny Cash's house was burnt down by the lead singer of the Bee Gees, and or at least his people or whatever. But he has this cabin there that remains, and also John Carter Cash, who is his son, has his house there, which is massive. So I got to go, and I took my grandma, and we went and checked it out to watch a recording session, and the engineer who was there was super cool. I could almost remember his name, but anyway, he showed us around, showed us the cabin, and basically this was Johnny Cash's retreat. Even though his property was on the same place, he had this cabin that was like his essentially like man cave of the day. And Rick Rubin convinced him somewhere like in the 2000s to convert his cabin into a recording studio, and that's where they did a bunch of his later albums.
Right.
And today it is now a commercial studio. And checking out the studio, first of all, it's just a really cool space. There's a lot of Johnny Cash memorabilia there.
Yeah.
But also, they showed us the vault, and in the vault is like, first of all, the guitar that the Sunny Side of Life was recorded on, if you know that song
Yep.
from the Cash family.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side, keep on the sunny side of life. That song.
Beautiful. Way to go.
Thank you. I'm like, I don't want to actually sing because then you'd hear my voice and you'd judge me.
I wouldn't judge you. I don't judge.
Thank you, Jay.
You're welcome.
So the Keep on the Sunny Side of Life is recorded on this guitar, and they show us it, and he's like, this guitar is priceless. Then he shows us another guitar, and it's like a 50s Les Paul or something, and he's like, this guitar sold for $75,000.
It's crazy.
He shows us that guitar that they have, and they just have all these amazing guitars, and they also have all of these, like we showed earlier, the reel-to-reel machine. They have all these boxes full of analog reels of tape, 2-inch tape that have Johnny Cash masters on them. And if you've noticed, since Johnny Cash has died, they've released new music.
Right.
Well, what I learned, and I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but they won't hear about this, our podcast isn't famous yet, is that they have...
Yet is the operative term there.
In the Johnny Cash cabin in the vault, and maybe they have released, but essentially they have like a lot more music that Johnny Cash has recorded that is not put out yet. It's just stuff
Still?
like demos, unreleased songs, things he did, because in that era of recording, things were very different. Nowadays, I record an album with a person and we spend like 3 months recording we take they've written 20 songs, we narrow it down to 12, we record those exact 12 songs and spend all the money recording 12 songs, and we spend 3-4 months on it and it's done. Okay, but in the old days, they would record, like a Beatles album could be recorded in a day or two. Especially not the later ones. The later ones they spent months on, but early on the Beatles would record a whole album in a day because they just threw up microphones like we're doing now and they recorded it, and things were just a lot simpler. They didn't spend as much time developing. And so Johnny Cash, older legacy artists like that, might have just, I don't know, a ton of songs that they recorded that they just did very quickly, very simply, and they recorded a song. And so they still have many songs from Johnny Cash that have never been released.
It's pretty crazy. Isn't it?
And they said that there's a plan to release them over the years. So they've been
That's
doing
super
that,
cool.
if you've seen. So yeah, so for all of you Johnny Cash fans, there's a lot more Johnny Cash music to come.
Cool. Hey, the Sauce Boss 999. For the new viewers, so we haven't listened in a while, we're Music Row Hideout. Obviously, you're seeing what we're doing, but we're here with special guest Jake Anderson. And for everyone who's new who didn't hear where they can find you in the beginning, where can they find you?
Where can they find me? So personally, I am
Your address, I mean.
at my address.
Personal home address.
It's what is the address for this place?
Where does your wife
Currently-
sleep?
Sauce Boss said, how did you get the Big Lebowski on your show?
So
The dude is here with us now.
right.
So we can find you on all of the internet.
So yeah, I'm all over. I have a website, jakeandersonmusic.com, which you can go to and sign up for my email list, or just click around and my album's for sale there, or You can go on Facebook and Instagram are probably my 2 main social media things. So at Jake Andersongs is my Instagram and Twitter handle. And then
Which is at Jake, Jake, Ander.
ANDERSONGS.
Songs.
Yep.
Which is creative because it's Jake Anderson, so
Yeah.
Jake Anderson.
Yep. Exactly right. It's my wife. I have my wife to thank for that. And then
Did you
Jake
say
Anderson
she's in
Music.
marketing or something?
She's in marketing, yeah. She's the director of marketing and IT for a company here in Nashville. So, but yeah.
And you have an album they can order right now, right?
Yeah, I have a my first EP that I released. Actually, it was like May or June 2016, so like almost 2 years ago. I don't know. It's not to the day, but it's very close. It's like within a couple weeks. Is still available for post order. So if you want to get it, iTunes,
Does post order just
Spotify.
mean order?
Yes, it does. but it's
I've not heard that term.
post order. Post is a Latin root that means after.
Yeah.
It's a
We know
medical
that.
term.
We're not retarded. Can I
like
say
post production.
Yeah.
that? I don't know.
I don't know if that's
Say
PC.
retarded.
You should just apologize right
Sorry.
away, though.
I'm so sorry for anybody who has family that's actually
That's probably enough.
mentally challenged. Okay, go on.
We get it. The liquor does that. Hi, Colon Blow 619. Is that
What a
from San
name.
Diego?
Whoa!
Woo!
619.
Colon Blow is trying to beat out
Colon Blow.
Floppy Dongus is the
Do you
most-
like? Is that from the movie Van Wilder?
I don't know, but he said, have you enjoyed any of Metatron music? Which sounds like a Supernatural reference to me.
Metatron?
And then we got Big Easy Spy Easy. Can you guys give a shout out to your brother Dalton because he's sick in the hospital? Yeah, huge shout out to Dalton.
Hey, Dalton.
Everyone give him a shout out in the
Dalton.
chat.
Hey, man. I hope you feel better, dude. I'm sorry you're in the hospital. That's awesome.
Jake is
That's
actually
awful.
an orthopedic right-hand man.
Yeah.
And Floppy
So
says,
The foot
It's been a
problem
few
is Dalton's
years.
Problem.
It's been a few years, but I could probably give
can
you some
manage.
bad advice.
this is the best kind. And Floppy says, I don't think I've asked any of the other artists this.
Ooh.
But have you ever had a problem with people copying or pirating your music?
No, I haven't. I think probably the biggest thing is like not getting paid for when stuff gets played certain places.
Sure, because of the internet.
Because of the internet. But so it's like a catch-22
You just
though.
played your song. You're not getting
Yeah,
paid
that's
for
right.
that.
No, I'm not going to make any royalties from this. So
We'll pay
podcasts
you
are weird.
nothing.
But to be fair, neither are we.
Or there's like some online like internet radio and stuff like that my music ends up on and things like that. But at the same time, like people will end up liking my page. It's a brand thing. So like when you put out an EP or anything like that, I think as an artist these days in this industry, the industry that we're in and the position that we're in now, music is no longer the end product, unfortunately. It's important and it's a huge reason why I do what I do, but most people now want the experience and not just the mystique of like, oh, how do you come up with that song, and listen to the song over and over again. They're still going to listen to the song over and over again, but there's just so much with the internet. There's so much stuff out there that it's kind of like Nashville, right? There's so much stuff out there. There's so many people in Nashville. So that's the analogy. There's so much stuff out there that there is the value of the product that you were selling before has diminished. However, people will, if they connect with you, you just have to cut through the noise essentially. And so there's so much stuff out there that it forces you to be better, and it forces you. So it's just an opportunity like anything else. And you can't complain about like the position we're in. Like we are in the world that we live in the market that we live in, and the whatever else. So it's just figuring out how to make that work.
So do you enjoy or just absolutely hate having to like continuously promote yourself on social media or create like essentially an image or a brand more than just people appreciating you for your music?
Yeah. So social media is it's a necessary thing. I like it. I have like a love-hate relationship with social media. It's really good and it's really bad. It's really good from a standpoint of like I feel like I connect with people, even if it's on a small scale or a big scale or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But like that's what drives me as a human being is like connection and relationships and things like that. And so I'm like, just that guy. from that standpoint. But on the other side is like the temptation to just like dive into it and let it like take over your life, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've been scrolling on Facebook for like an hour and a half for no reason. It's the same thing that happens on YouTube though, or anything else. I got on YouTube to watch a video about how to fix something in my house, and now I'm watching a lion take down a giraffe in the Serengeti.
You gotta know how it's done.
Yeah, I see, but you have to know. And that happens usually around like 2:30 in the morning.
I don't know how to answer that question.
What is the question?
Why does Drake's Scorpion album deserve a 0 out of 10? I think that's just rude. I don't know.
I
Rude
just
to
saw on
Drake.
Spotify today, new release Drake. Oh my gosh, I want to say Drake Anderson.
Drake Anderson.
This is a good promo for you.
Long lost
That's
brother.
right.
Did you know
Long
that
lost
Drake
brother.
is
I'm not
the
from
brother
Canada
of
though.
Jake? Yeah. No, I saw that album was just released. I haven't listened to it yet. Have you?
I haven't either. No, I honestly like.
Why does it deserve a 0 out of 10 though?
I don't think it does.
Yeah, he likes to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I like to give people.
heard
I
it
haven't.
yet?
I haven't
10 out of
listened
10.
to it, so I can't speak intelligibly about it. But
12 out of 10.
I think that whether you think something's really great or really bad anymore is irrelevant. Like
It's true.
There's a room for everything in the market that we're in.
Someone's going to like it, someone's going to hate it no matter
Yeah.
what you do. Which, speaking of someone's going to like it,
Ooh,
it's been about... it's been like 40 minutes.
ooh.
We should do another song.
All right,
If you're down.
sure.
If you like to play songs, which I heard you do.
I love songs.
If
It's like
you,
my favorite thing.
Yeah, if you want to... play. So we'll play one through Spotify at the end, but... I'm not going to answer more questions about Drake. That's weird.
What is it though?
Drake is cool, but he's not here right now.
Yeah.
What? That question, that's harsh. I don't actually know the story behind it though.
I don't know either. But let me unmute you here so we can get another Jake
can't-
Anderson
We
song.
can't appropriately answer that question about Drake because we don't know.
What should I play?
Well, I don't know your
Your
music as well
best
as you.
song.
My best song?
I mean, if you want to get all serious, you could play that one that I liked a lot.
All right, you want me to do that one?
I don't know. Do we want to get serious or we want to get? We could get serious.
Whatever you feel is right.
We'll see. We'll see.
Let's get
I
serious.
respond to this song very seriously, but you may respond differently. We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just gonna say, for the listeners, that this song is this. A few months ago, Jake and I were at an event called the Writers' Room together. It's at a studio in Franklin, and writers come together. They play songs and they critique each other's work, and hear one another out and network and whatever else. And Jake played this song, and the room was just transfixed by this song. Myself notwithstanding, I loved this song, and I was like, I want to record that.
He sent me a text the next day, and he was like, "Hey, Jake, Leah gave me your number."
It's true. Leah, who runs
Actually, he
the-
left me a message
Right,
first,
sure.
and he said, "This is Ryan Poole," and then he said, and I said that like my grandmother, who doesn't know that there's caller ID, and this is my number.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was flattering for me. I like, especially with this song, I think it was one that I have, I went through a period of time in Nashville where you trying to fit in and you're trying to like write stuff for radio, write stuff to like get on something or to just be approved of by like a publisher that's like,
Yep.
you know, you want that validation of somebody that goes like, hey, I would pay you to write songs all day long, every day. That'd be really cool. However, in the process of that, I kind of lost myself. And I mentioned that earlier and didn't really expound on that, but it was a coming out of that period where I felt like I just had been writing stuff for everybody else and not for myself as an artist or as a person. And so this was like the first song in like probably a year or a year and a half that I just wrote by myself.
Okay.
And what I love about the song, it's so vulnerable that what's interesting about vulnerability just in general as a topic is vulnerability is something that you feel like when you're being vulnerable that you're exposing you and only you, and so you're scared as shit of what people are going to think of that. And what's really interesting is when you're vulnerable, it's weirdly more universal than when you think you're being so specific to you. And Jake shared the song, and it's you didn't preface it at all, but when you played it, it's like sounds so vulnerable, right? And I've talked to you about it, and it's just like it so relates to your own personal story, and yet I think for myself and everybody who's in the room when we heard it, it's like 100% universally applicable. And I listened to it, and it speaks to like my shit, and I heard it, and it like resonated with me, and literally like I'm not a lyrics person first, I'm a music person first. But there are rare occasions, and I feel like this song is one where like the lyrics and what you say in the song, I'm like, oh shit, like it just, I don't know, it just spoke to my heart. So anyway, if you're watching, I would just recommend you listen to lyrics. I don't know, maybe it'll speak something to you.
And what's the song called?
It's called Won't Forget.
Is this on?
This is on, actually, so we did this analog, like we just did with the song Smoke. I came here actually, and Ryan and I were just messing around. I think he just like was using this tape machine as like an application for the first time here, and so it was a really cool opportunity to come in and just record it and do it. I think it's the way the song wants to be too. It's just guitar vocal with a really cool kind of vintage sound. So. And hopefully I can live up to the way Ryan just built it up. So.
Right. Set it real high up here. All right.
It meant a lot to me.
All right.
So it's called Won't Forget.
I said I love you, took a sip of cheap red wine as you stared across the silence at the table. Said all that stuff happened in a different life, but it'd surely take it back if I was able. I know it hurts, wish there was something I could say, keep those tears in your eyes from welling up. I've used every combination of words I can find, and I can't find one that's enough. No, I can't find one that's enough. Lord knows I've tried, I've spent sleepless nights facing off with the monster in me. But that beast comes out, shakes the peace I've found, and the rubble falls to the streets. I keep paying for all these mistakes I haven't lived down yet. She might forgive, but she won't forget. Said I guess that I was scared you'd see what I really am, expose what's been broken, what's been damaged. So I only let you see the shiny parts that make the man, and in the end it was all too much to manage. Lord knows I've tried, I've spent sleepless nights facing off with the monster in me. But that beast comes out, shakes the peace I've found, and the rubble falls to the streets. I keep paying for all these mistakes I haven't lived down yet. She might forgive, but she won't forget. See, I spent my whole life holding cards close to the vest. I carried this load on my own, and all this pain is killing us. Well, it started somewhere else, but I just can't seem to let it go. No, I just can't seem to let it go. Lord knows I've tried, I've spent sleep this night's facing off with the monster in me. But that beast comes out, shakes the peace I've found, and the rubble falls to the streets. I keep paying for all these mistakes I haven't lived down yet. She might forgive, but she won't forget. I said I love you, took a sip of cheap red wine as she stared across the silence at the table.
All right.
Song still gets me, man. I've heard it a bunch of times. It still gets me.
Thanks, man.
So, oh gosh, so many lines stick out to me. I want to. I don't know. We're a lot about fun and levity on this podcast, and we need to definitely get back to that. But maybe we could have a somber
Yeah.
Dude, whiskey's good for sad songs too,
moment.
brother.
Yeah.
This is good for everything.
I know the personal story for you that goes behind that song, and I'd probably rather not get into that specifics, not only because it's your story, but also because I just think that song, when I was in the room, it was guys and girls that related to that song, because I think what's great about it is that it can mean whatever it means to you. And so maybe we can speak in more like abstract ways that don't make it about one topic, but that can speak to everybody. But there's just so many lines that stick out to me. I think you talk about the line, the shiny parts that make the man. That part, what are you saying that? What's the whole phrase?
What is the whole phrase? Let me think back.
It's so different talking it than
yeah,
singing
talking
it.
it and sing it. So
You can sing it.
the line is, so I only let you see the shiny parts that make the man, and in the end, it was all too much to manage.
It's the line, and damn, it's the melody. Can you sing it?
That's so I only let you see the shiny parts that make the man, and in the end, it was all too much to manage.
Man, the way you descend down to the shiny parts that make the man, you're like going higher, and it's like the irony of you saying I only show you the shiny parts that make the man. I think I immediately am just like, yeah, the shiny parts of the man, because I can tell you the things that make me special. And then you descend to, but in the end, it was all too much to manage. Just something about like the brilliance of the melody matching the emotion of like you've gone so high to show this shiny part, and you have these like manic moments in life where you're just like, what I'm doing is so cool. I am so cool. I'm meeting these cool people. I'm doing these great things, and I want to show you only that. And then but true to your melody is, but in the end, it was all too much to manage. I don't know. Can you talk about that more in maybe an abstract way that somebody...
Well, I mean, I think it's relatable. So from a personal standpoint, I'm not too afraid to I'm not going to get into like specifics, but like from a personal standpoint, I've been doing a lot of work on myself for last couple of years, 4 years. And there's a certain point where you have to confront I say it in the chorus, but like I faced off with the monster in me, and realized that like everybody has parts of themselves that they're not proud of.
Yeah.
And places that we like have blinders on for, that we are unaware even sometimes that we hurt other people. You know, and like that line to me was like, when you talk about the rubble falling to the street, was literally like in my mind, like the picture of that was like Godzilla walking through Tokyo, and literally like that monster in me is like stomping around in the streets of like my wife and my kids and my friends and everybody else. Like there's parts of me that I'm blind to that are, you know, or that I try to keep to myself. And so that, you know, the line specifically that you're asking about, where I say the shiny parts that make the man, are, I think it's what everybody does, right? We want to present the best us possible. And in the culture that we live in the United States today, everything's about like be the best you and have power of positive thinking and like fake it till you make it kind of stuff. But we put this front up that's not healthy. We put this front up that we hide behind.
Why is it not healthy?
It's not healthy because when you put a front up like that, and this is what I've been trying to break down is my own front. I've written when I look back at songs that I've written over the last year, a lot of them are about stuff like this. Just like I think, like I said before, it's therapy for me. So and then maybe it applies to other people. Who knows? But it's not healthy because you are, for me personally, like you say it in the form of like, everybody has idols, right? And idols aren't necessarily like the Old Testament version of like, hey, we threw some gold in a fire and it came out as an owl jug.
We shall worship this owl jug.
Yeah, so it's not always an object. Far more commonly in this culture that we live in, it's approval or control or power or influence or it's not even things. It's this feeling of where do you get your worth from, right? And for me, it was approval.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to be approved of people, and so I spent most of my life putting out this front for people of like, this is who I think I need to be in this context for people to like me or to approve of me or to think that I'm good or whatever, because if they really knew the real me, they wouldn't hang around very long. That's the thought going through my head, like at the very root of it. The sad part about that, and the reason it's unhealthy, is because you're not just presenting what you think people want to see, but you're also putting up this front. And even if people like the front, even if people love the mask that you put on for yourself, it's so lonely. It's because you still live behind the mask.
It's not real.
So everybody's love goes to the thing that you put out, and you're still left by yourself behind the mask. And there's a lot of people that are lonely out there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's for you.
It's getting so deep over here.
Well, let's bring it a little bit less deep because that's what I do best.
Jared, I want to hear. I want to stay deep with you.
Let's stay deep.
You talk about video games all day with people.
Go deep.
What? Share something deep with us.
I don't know what you want from me.
Something deep. He just said that.
What's behind
I'm
the
deep as
shiny
hell.
parts that make the man? You're so shiny, Jerry.
I'm pretty.
You're so shiny.
I mean, I am shiny.
You're great
I'm
at your
sweating,
job.
Sweating like a motherfucker over here, but shiny as fuck.
Man, that song is. I feel that you're gonna take it to a funny.
No, this is not. This is just something I observed. This is something I
I
observed.
have to say goodbye to my sad feelings.
Let's
Hold
hear
on.
it.
God, this song just makes me feel. Okay, go on.
So this is just something I noticed when you were singing that song, because I listened to the headphones, which in person I hear the guitar much louder because I'm sitting right next to you playing the guitar, so I hear your voice quieter. And so I didn't notice this, and I noticed it when you sang just that line, and also in the headphones. Is that what I didn't notice when you were singing and playing the guitar with me sitting right next to you? Is you had a little bit of a Bob Dylan vibe in your voice I've never heard. I did not hear.
Huh.
You hear that? Listen to the headphones. Like I was like, man, this is a little bit reminiscent of Bob
Okay.
Dylan.
I mean, that's good company, so I'll take it.
Yeah, sure.
I've never thought of Jake in that way, but I get it.
Yeah. Which, by the way, oh man, you gotta listen back like it sounds.
Like if Bob Dylan was
I only
singing your
hear-
lyrics, he would be saying like,
But he would be
I mean,
doing
he
it
would-
like this,
"I keep
man.
living down all these regrets I haven't lived down."
It wasn't that extreme.
Yeah.
Like,
It wasn't. But
But
like
a
you
little bit of
hear
a
how me
vibe.
doing
Yeah,
that impression is similar. It's not 1,000 degrees different than you.
No, I'm not saying you sound like Bob Dylan.
If Chris
just there was a
Stapleton and
little
Bob
bit of a
Dylan
vibe
got
that
together
reminded
and
me.
made a baby, Jake Anderson would emerge.
Dude, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Chris Dylan. Speaking
Is that
of
my
Chris
new-
Dylan,
is
which
that my
sounds
new
wrong,
straight-
have you heard
my-
Jacob Dylan?
Jacob Dylan.
Jacob Dylan is Bob Dylan's son.
I don't know that I've actually listened to any
You
of his music.
have, and you don't know it. He's the lead singer of the Wallflowers.
Oh, all right. Huh.
Yeah. One Headlight, baby.
Cool.
And also, by the way, if you haven't listened to the Wallflowers outside of One Headlight, they actually have a pretty good catalog of music. They do a song Cupid that references Sam Cooke, super cool. then Jacob Dylan's done his own solo record, and you listen
I
to
don't
him.
listen to much
Can you
stuff
imagine being
overall.
Bob Dylan's kid?
What shoes to fill?
That like weight you
Not
have
what
to
shoes
carry?
to fill, but also like, so this is from my perspective. I have a son and a daughter, right? And they listen, like my studio in my house, I have like a bonus room studio that I've got my own setup in. And so at night when my kids are sleeping, because it's not like properly treated and soundproofed and everything like that, it's when I have time to record unless they're at school or something like that. So a lot of times I'll be up like mixing something or working on something or whatever it is, and my son probably listens to all the songs that I write as much as I do if I'm like recording them or doing something like that. And like for him, it's not necessarily something to it's just the way it rubs off on you. It's interesting to watch from the other side, because I didn't have that when I was a kid. Like my dad was a corporate guy for
right-hand
like
man?
No, my dad was an electrical engineer and worked for he was in the Army first, and so I moved around a ton, and then after that his degree was in electrical engineering, so he worked at some first at Navistar, which is the big rig company. They make like trucks that pull trailers and stuff like that. And then we moved to Florida, and he worked for this other, like, he's a project manager and stuff like that. So he worked for a software company. And then after that he essentially started his own business and does, he does, like renovations and things like that. And, helps people repair their houses and do whatever. But I didn't have that. So, like, for me, it was always like I didn't have a context of, like, somebody who does that for a living or does that well or does it even, like, in a viable way or anything like that. And so I wasn't around it other than just having instruments all over our house all the time, because we always had guitars and pianos and flutes and trumpets and whatever. Musical family, yeah. We were a little bit 7 kids, like the Von Trapp family singers. If you like the sound of music,
Everyone likes the sound of music.
Yeah,
otherwise you're a bad person.
We acted it out a couple times, and agreed, I think, as a family that the song that always gets played during Christmas time is not actually a Christmas song, but it's nice.
What song?
It's the one about like brown paper packages wrapped up in ribbons or whatever. It's like
Massive famous song,
but not a Christmas song.
not a Christmas song. I don't know what it's about. Because like I recognize the melody.
It's just about their favorite things. That's all it is.
Yeah,
These are a few.
My favorite thing.
Yeah. Good job, man.
Wow.
Good job.
Wow. Sing it on the internet. Woo!
There he goes. This is new territory. So, but yeah, so like, but to imagine like being his kid, be Bob Dylan's kid, and listen to what he's doing all the time, and whatever song is like churning away in his head that he's probably sitting with a notebook and a guitar at that time and
It's gotta be a lot.
writing that. It's like there's a lot of stuff that rubs off on you, and I think about it from my perspective. Like even like kids say creepy things sometimes as compliments. Like my son one time, we're getting out of the car, and it was recently actually. It was after the duo started, and he said, "Dad, I really want you to make me a booklet of all the Simple Truce songs." I was like, "That's really sweet, man. Thank you. Like, why would you want me to do that?" He goes, "Well, if you die, I want to still be able to play them."
It got real dark real fast.
I was like, "What? Do you have something planned?"
Yeah.
That,
Hey,
how do I get in touch with your insurance policy?
yeah, that's right.
Hey,
So
Sup Don't Work Me, welcome back. I haven't seen the channel in a long time. Just want to say hi since I saw you there. Welcome to Music or Hideout, which might be a little different than the last time you were here. We're with Jake Anderson,
how you doing, man?
local musician here in Nashville. I've also probably moved to Nashville since last time I talked to you.
Yep.
But
So, but yeah, it's interesting to think about like what happens, like because people leave residue on you regardless of whether you're their kid or not. But
Sure.
to be around them that much and to like see their process and see why they do what they do, dude, there's a sandal cookie.
dude, you want some
Would you like
cookies?
some cookie?
I would love some cookie.
Yeah,
Break some of
I'll
that
have
off.
some of that.
Yeah.
My
Dude,
wife made these.
Which
Cheers.
you get
Oh,
half.
I get a
I
whole.
gave-
You get a whole cookie. We
I get a
each
whole.
half.
All right,
That's how good we are to our guests.
dude, this is incredible. I love cookies.
My wife is a baker at Panera.
Ooh.
So she made these. You can also buy these at Panera.
Also, I have not only refreshed our water bottles, but you'll notice the Goonies posters back.
I see it.
Oh, wow.
I
Are
love
you
the
Goonies
Goonies.
fan?
Oh, I love the Goonies.
You
Just
are.
doing that right now?
I just hung the Goonies. Well, I went to the bathroom.
Remember when we
and I
recorded the
noticed
song I just played? I wore my Goonies shirt that day.
So you love the Goonies.
I do. I mean, like, what is there not to like? There's pirates and adventure.
The secret cave, the old
Yeah.
lighthouse, the lost map, the treacherous trap, the hidden treasure, and
The
sloth.
monster that looks like
Join the
Quasimodo.
adventure.
I don't see. I've never really gotten it.
Look, man, do you ever
I don't
watch
know if
Bambi?
Sure.
Do you remember that part where it said, "If you don't have anything to say or nice to say, don't say anything at all"?
I ignore that completely. I don't think the Goonies is bad. I think it was fine. I just don't get the hype. Like I feel like there's so many other. Here's the thing.
Question: Did you see it before you were 10?
No, I did not see it as a kid.
Then
I didn't
you're-
see it until I was an adult.
So let me tell you what you're like right now. And this is okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you. It's like when you go to Disneyland and they're going for the first time when they're 18-ish. And they never went as a kid for some reason. And they don't get it. And they're like, this is okay.
No,
You're
but
like,
here's the
you
difference.
don't get it.
If they go with me to Disneyland, they have a great time. I'm a Disneyland professional.
I don't know.
Tell everybody about what you used to do with the princesses. That sounds dirty.
That
Go
sounds
on.
really bad. I didn't used to do. I just decided one day I want a picture with all the Disney princesses. I had a year pass
Right.
to Disneyland. I
So
went
you're
like 20
collecting
times
them.
that year.
You're collecting them like the McDonald's
baseball cards.
Monopoly thing.
Yeah,
when you
I,
live
I,
in-
I haven't gotten them all
You,
because I stopped.
you're
'cause it
you're
was
trying to
creepy.
get Park Place though.
Trying to get Park Place, but I got like half them. At the time, then they started releasing more princesses. I got
It's very common as a Southern Californianer to have a
year pass.
year pass to Disneyland. What's weird is
Oh, yeah,
like
too
if you
expensive.
live in Irvine, where Disneyland is, 100% I get it because you can be there in 5 minutes.
Right.
But we're from San Diego.
Hour and a half.
2 hours, an hour and a half. It's more like an hour and a half. Hour and a half
exactly
to
an
2
hour and a
hours,
half.
depending
That's not too
on
bad.
how fast you
No,
drive south.
You can drive there, do it, and come back the same.
Dude,
day.
that's the same commit. That's the same commute as trying to get from like Whittier to Hollywood. So
It's still good, but
I don't know any of that. I mean,
our friend, both of us actually, at various times were roommates with a guy named Jared Johnson.
true.
I was roommates with Jared from like 19 to 21. When were you roommates with Jared?
Like 22, 24.
Yeah.
I
We're the
feel
same age.
left out that I didn't have a roommate.
You
named
never
Jared.
had
We can call
Jared
him.
as a roommate.
No, I had Mike. I had BJ.
Jared once
Joe.
Joe, BJ, Joe, Mike.
Yeah, had those
Very
roommates, but
common
never
name.
Jared.
Jared went to Disneyland 17 times in
Wow.
1 year.
I'd beat that shit. Well, I used to go with another guy we know, Mike Ross, which is we're completely tangenting now. But we went over
Mike Ross,
20,
let's bring
over
him
20
back.
times in 1 year.
Okay, maybe
I only went with
then
Jared
all we
once.
know is Jared was the king of Disneyland. So
I lived with him for
Yeah.
2 years. I've only went with him once.
Can I pause
Then
this for
maybe-
just a second?
Absolutely,
Maybe
because
Joe
it's getting
went more
weird.
I want
Jared
to pause
went
it
more
for
than
just a
17.
second because I feel like we mentioned that your wife is named Corinne, right?
Corinne, yep,
And she bakes the pastries
at Panera.
at Panera.
And the breads and all
And we
sorts of
said that she makes them, but we didn't properly thank her. So, like, Corinne,
Wow,
thank you for the cookies. These are incredible.
you're more polite than me to my own wife. She also used to work at Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah,
That's true.
She used to do like the Dumbo ride and stuff. We went there before I was dating her when I was hanging out with Ryan. And I had a year pass because true San Diegan, and got Ryan in for free.
No, not then you didn't.
No, I didn't
We
get pass
both-
that day.
We didn't. You
Yeah.
did not get in with your pass that day. Corinne gave me 2 free tickets.
I didn't need.
She
mine.
didn't give
I
me
had a
1 free
pass.
tickets. Whatever, you're a liar. Not that year. You got in
That
free
was-
with me because
This is
my
Family
sister gave
Feud,
you a
yeah.
Long
guys.
before I. Long
So
before
Legit
women-
Family Feud, not the
women
not the
of
game
Twitch,
show.
Women of the internet, if you want to find you a man,
at
give
Disney?
your brother 2 passes to Disneyland to bring a friend. That
then
friend
date that
will
man?
marry you.
Date that. But
Also,
yeah,
you
she
have
was
to
in,
move to
like,
China, I guess.
she
It's
was-
a whole thing.
She was
Yeah.
running the Dumbo rides, which is not a ride that I would normally like a huge fan
Yeah.
of.
Oh, yeah, this for her.
But yeah, so she got to skip the line, If she
I
was
don't think we
riding,
did Dumbo. I think we
she
did
worked,
like
Space Mountain
Storyland
or
with
something.
her.
No, it was Dumbo that we did with her.
Really?
100%.
Dumbo's
I
more
married-
Dumbo's
you
more
married.
romantic though. Dumbo's like that's the
He
nostalgic ride.
says, "Hear that, Liz?" As in, that's how you get a house.
Hear that, Liz? Liz, all you got to do is go work at
Give some guy 2
Disneyland
passes
first.
to Disneyland.
Does Liz live in Tennessee? Is that the Liz we're
Yeah, Liz
talking
is like
about?
20 minutes from here.
In where? Where does Liz live in Tennessee?
She's 17, so we'd rather not say.
What is her address?
I mean, what city? Not not her address. What is the city?
Rutherford County.
Rutherford County,
Okay.
aka Murfreesboro,
Murfreesboro.
is part of Rutherford County.
Murfreesboro.
Maybe she'll get
if
more
you're from
specific.
Tennessee.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, if you don't feel comfortable, I don't care. That's fine. But Rutherford, Okay, I know where that is. Liz, you have to move to SoCal
No, you don't.
and work at
It's very
Disneyland
expensive.
and give your brother's friends Disneyland passes. That's how you find a husband.
She says, I don't think she
That's
has
how
a
you do it.
brother. She said, but what if I don't have a brother?
Oh wow, you're gonna die alone. I'm sorry. It's just true. Everyone knows this.
It's brutal.
Oh,
Jake, do
man.
you have a sister?
I have 2 sisters.
He's one of 7, remember?
Yeah.
Right.
You assume some would
You
be
assume-
sisters.
Choose
But
your
you
own
don't know.
adventure. Whatever you want.
So
it.
tell me about like brothers and sisters. Which one do you prefer? Are
Which-
you close
which
to
one's your
some? Are you
favorite?
far from some? What's it
More
like to be one of
importantly,
7?
Which one's your least favorite?
Which one's my least favorite?
Marcus.
I don't know.
Marcus.
I don't really have a least favorite. I mean, it's
Tanner.
like
Do you hate Tanner?
Tanner.
Please tell me you have a brother named Tanner.
No. But I don't like Tanner.
No one likes Tanner.
Nobody likes Tanner. You know, I think here's the thing about like growing up in a family of 7 kids. So we were like, while we lived together, it was, you know, you fight like cats and dogs, and you're like living on top of each other essentially. You know, you get parents, like we couldn't afford the Kevin McAllister house, so
Sure.
so we're
No one
sharing
can.
bedrooms, and like by living on top of each other, I mean like we had bunk beds and stuff like that. And
Literally on top of each other.
yeah, literally on top of each other. We were, it was, you know, like Beijing. We were building up. So, but after that, like, even though you like borderline hate each other while you're living together, you move away, and we've all kind of spread out across the country. Like, I live in Nashville. I have a sister that lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I have a sister in LA. I've got a few brothers still in Florida. And one brother that was until recently like an over-the-road trucker, so we probably saw
My cousin
him.
drives. He's a trucker.
Yeah, more than, and he loves, like, he's a gamer and stuff like that. So he's on Twitch and things like that. I don't know what his handle is. I'm sorry, Ben.
Just type in Ben, he'll come up.
Yeah, it'll just come up. There's nobody else named Ben
Oh yeah,
on
obviously,
Twitch.
Ben. Everyone knows Ben.
Yeah. So the
If you want.
Mine as well. So living together like that, though, you fight quite a bit, but at the same time, here I'm going to share. Somebody split it with me. When you move away,
How fucking dare you?
you get to enjoy each other a lot more, and like it's kind of a miracle that like at Christmas or Thanksgiving or something like that, if we're all happen to be at home at the same time, we have a family that we still can like enjoy each other's company. It's not like there's no like random family thing that we're like, you know, oh, I can't, like, I don't really want to talk to you or anything like that. It's like, you know, we all get along pretty well.
Okay.
So
Well,
there's
that's
like
good.
there's just bond. We went through a lot together, and now we enjoy each other's company whenever we get the pleasure of actually spending time together. You know, I'm just gonna go straight.
Like a champ. Okay. Well, we're coming close up to the stopping time.
What is the stopping time?
Technically, our official stopping time is 8:30. We've never stopped anywhere close to 8:30.
I think of
I mean, I feel like you could just go as long as you
We
want.
just go as long as we want. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
What is it like the audience? Do you guys want us to keep going?
Out of Jack,
They
so we're
absolutely
like,
do.
all right, we're getting boring. I'm going to
But-
suggest a new rule for
I
Music Row
never
Hideout.
get boring. Even
Never.
We
without
need to
Jack.
always have a little more to drink other than the one main drink. Do you know what I'm
That's true.
saying? We keep running out.
a six
Isn't that
pack.
good?
Yeah, some beers or something like
Some
that.
beer, yeah, or a second bottle of whiskey.
In my head, like, if I bought a bottle of Jack Daniels, that will last for like 2 weeks.
Not on a night
'Cause
like
he's not a
tonight.
professional.
Yeah, I'm not a pro.
Yeah, dude, I went to UCF, which when I went there, it was a drinking school with a football problem.
The University of
So-
California, Florida. That's right. With a football Sorry, that was
University
funny.
of California, Florida. It's actually bigger than most of the schools in California. So it's like this
Really?
third biggest school in the nation.
Holy crap.
Yeah, UCF is
like
big.
Physical campus.
No, like attendance.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And why do people go there? Is it a party school? Is it a highly regarded school?
It's
There's
a-
program.
Actually, it's really good as far as like sciences and things like that.
And being an orthopedic right hand man.
Yeah, well, like sciences, they have a lot of like their engineering programs are actually really great. But it was originally set up as like a aerospace engineering school to service like NASA because it's
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
an hour away from Titusville, which is where where Cape Canaveral is.
I started at UCSD in San Diego, which is also a huge engineering, aerospace
Right.
kind of.
University of California Super Dicks.
That's correct.
Yeah.
San Diego.
San Diego. I
it's
believe in
true.
Spanish it means a whale's vagina.
That's correct.
It's the most glorious city that there's ever been.
That's where I started, not where I finished. I went to many colleges
Wow.
and worked at 4.
That sounds like
don't
quite
know. I
an
don't-
odyssey.
It was.
4 colleges?
I worked at 4 colleges.
Worked at
Tower
4.
of
I've
Obadiah.
attended
That's right, the Tower of Obadiah. You need to write that book, brother.
Grossmont,
4.
UCSD. Where else did you go?
City College.
Oh, I didn't know that. My dad went to City
Ashford.
College.
I took 1 class there.
I almost
Ashford.
went to UCLA.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah, it's the University of Clear Lake Avenue, which is the community college in Brevard County, Florida.
You know what?
I almost went to
pisses me off?
UCLA as well. So we almost would have been friends on opposite sides of the country.
I live in San Diego. I got into UCSD. UC Irvine gave me a full ride. Didn't take it. SDSU, San Diego State University, gave me a full ride. I didn't take it. Berkeley accepted me. Did not give me a full ride. UCLA denied me.
Denied you?
Yeah, I got into Berkeley, bitch. You didn't
Dude.
deny me from UCLA?
I feel your pain, man.
I was pissed.
I didn't get into
I didn't wanna
UF.
go there.
UF. So I was in Florida,
University of
obviously.
Florida?
Yeah, University of Florida. And it's like that's not even that great of a school, honestly. Like academically,
You're like, eh.
it's on par with Georgia, which has a class called walking. So, so
But I awfully like sitting, so I don't know if I'd pass that class.
yeah. Well,
I'd like to share my college credentials.
Oh, God.
I want you to know that in the 8th grade, I made a very, very
Way
close
back.
friend named Nick Harrington.
8th grade.
For the 8th grade year, in specific, we were best friends. We didn't know each other before, and we didn't ever see each other after 8th grade. Never. We went to different high schools. But for the 8th grade only, we were best friends. Both of us had the exact same life mission to go to MIT, one of the most prestigious colleges in the entire country.
Because they have a really good audio engineering program.
No. At the time, I wanted to be a computer
Hey, thanks for the-
programmer.
Thanks for the bits,
I-
Spartan.
I was meaning, woo, I want my half of those bits, Obadiah. So anyhow, JK. So we wanted to be, at that time I was into being a computer programmer. I used to
Right.
read a lot of, I used to go to Hasta La Vista, if any internet people know what that is. Visit a lot of hacker websites. Hasta La Vista, not Alta Vista.
Okay, I was-
Hasta La Vista was the hacker specific. In fact, my computer password to this day for all of my things is based
Is?
off of is not even
Is?
said, but it's based off of a randomly generated password by Hasta La Vista, which is a hacker website. And at the time, it was always rated very, very strong.
Wow.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's like mid grade, whatever.
Medium.
But anyway, back
This is
then,
medium.
in the 2001 2000 era of the internet, it was a very strong password.
Very
Anyway,
strong.
the point is, me and Nick Harrington wanted to go to MIT and become computer programmers.
Yeah. Point of the story is
And
actually that he has
ultimately-
the same password for everything. So if you figure out what it is,
You own him.
Oh, it's an impossible password. I tell Obadiah my password to get into my computer every week, and he still doesn't remember it.
I remember half of it.
He's known it for years. He only knows half. I tell him to his face, and he doesn't know it. The point is that me and Nick Harrington wanted to go to MIT and be computer programmers, and guess what? Nick Harrington did get into MIT.
wow. Did he
I
go?
didn't apply because by that time,
were
13,
over it.
we were like MIT, bro, and 14, a bunch of things happened in my life, and I joined a band, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be a rock
You're
star.
like, girls and rock and roll.
And I was like, screw Nick Harrington at MIT. And guess what? I'm a musician, and Nick Harrington went to MIT.
You know, I
The
didn't.
point is Nick got in, so I could have got in.
Yeah, I didn't get into. I didn't apply to MIT, but I did get offered a big scholarship to RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology.
Ah,
Rochester,
yeah,
New York.
Rochester.
Hillary Clinton's from there, so that's like you could have been president, but
But she
didn't quite
wasn't,
make
though.
it.
Is that like
Because
the
of
feeder
Trump.
school for Syracuse?
Well, it's the Institute of Technology, so probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rochester Institute of Technology.
I had never.
That's
heard of
almost
it.
good as MIT, but not at all.
Yeah,
That sounds
Guess
cold.
what, jury? Nick went to MIT.
I got into
so
Berkeley,
I'm better
though.
than you. Berkeley is a pretty big deal. My
Hey,
aunt went to Berkeley.
Quadsor, what's going on? I don't know how that applies, but
Oh, what is
Gucci gang to you too.
Gucci gang.
That's.
Is there a sign?
Is there a sign?
Is it the Gucci
You just
gang?
have to say Gucci gang
Well, it's
over
a
and over
G.
and over again, and you've recreated the song.
I believe it's
well,
G.
Yeah, that's right. Gucci Gang. Is that how it
Gucci
goes?
gang, Gucci
Is
gang,
there a
Gucci gang,
sign?
Gucci gang. Sure.
It's a G.
I don't.
Could
know.
it be anything else?
Sorry,
correct us.
Quadsor.
Correct us if it's anything other
I
than just
tried
a
my
G.
bestest. I don't know where we even go from that.
I
I don't know.
Where do you go
I think
from
it
that?
might be a good time to play another song.
Play another song? All right.
Where'd he make you play songs till you run out?
I mean, I have a lot of songs. So
I'm hip with the youth, Liz. I don't know what you're talking about.
what does hip with the youth mean?
I don't know. She said these guys aren't hip with the youth, but we are hip with
We're
the
the
youth.
youth.
Look at his hair.
We
The
are so...
hippest of the
Liz, you don't
possible.
even know. At the young, childlike age of 17, you think youth is you? Hell no. You're a baby. You're not into
you
your
saying- I
youth
feel like-
until you're in your 30s like us. We are now the youth of America. We are.
No one will get that reference.
Such an old
at
reference.
all.
Only us youthful 30-year-olds will understand. Right, Jake?
That's right. Only us.
So what is this song? What is it about?
I don't know.
What's your name?
Just
What's
winging
your
it.
at?
It's my name. My name is Jake Anderson. And I think I'm going to play a song, another simple Truce song. Truce. Truce, for those that are...
Truce. And I'm going to mute us.
This is a song that we wrote. Actually, it's my story. It's for my wife. It's called High School Ring.
Well, you look like the brightest light on the party side of town. And I was just a kid trying to pick up what you were putting down. We rushed in fast, fell so deep, left nothing in our path. 'Cause once you've loved someone that hard, there ain't no going back. We were young, knew it all, there was no use in telling us anything. We had nothing to offer, but baby, we gave it our everything. All our love was enough, all wrapped up in that high school ring. Well, we've done some miles, faced some trials since I placed it in your hand. Yeah, things get tight, we've had some drag out fights, but we do the best we can. And even when we feel like throwing it in, somehow we stay strong. We might reach the end of our road, but we're still hanging on to win. We were young, knew it all, there was no use in telling us anything. We had nothing to offer, but baby, we gave it our everything. All our love was enough, all wrapped up in a beat-up truck, a common last name, and a high school ring. I was young, knew it all, there was no use in telling me anything. We had nothing to offer, but baby, I gave you my everything. We were young, knew it all, there was no use in telling
Good job, guys.
Then we're not on the ball, but
You're doing great.
you missed one. There you go. I liked that song. I felt like it was a little more upbeat
It is a little more
than the
upbeat.
ones the
Yes.
other ones you've done.
It has a faster tempo.
Is that what upbeat means?
No, it's a little more of like a happier song than
Okay.
than the last one for sure. But also comes from an equal place of real.
Okay.
So, because my wife and I were high school sweethearts, and that's like a real story. So, like, when we were in high school and getting ready to go to separate colleges and live a couple hours apart from each other and not be around each other all the time, she was very worried about like what's going to happen to us.
Right. Well, which, as we have discussed, long distance type thing can be very difficult.
It can be hard, yeah.
Did you
Even-
go long distance during college?
Yeah, for 4 years.
Oh wow.
For 4, I mean, it was just a couple hours, so I could technically.
So
like,
you guys
make
would
it back.
visit and
But she was on a basketball scholarship. I was doing the athletic training program. So I was, while she was like traveling for basketball and doing all the stuff she was doing at the school she was at, I was traveling with football and other sports. And
okay.
we essentially just never saw each other except for
Where'd you have basketball scholarship to?
she went to Florida Tech, which is FIT is the, I guess, the short name of Florida Institute of Technology, which is now the feeder college for like all the space programs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people that work at like SpaceX went to FIT.
I know very
That's
little
cool.
about women's college basketball,
Yeah.
except that I now work at a college that apparently is very big on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's it just is what it is. Like some places it's really big. Like if you love Tennessee, then you love women's basketball. Because Pat Summitt was the boss of pretty much all coaching ever. But so she played and did that stuff, but during that time where we were like, you know, it was that summer before college and we were figuring out like what's this gonna look like or whatever. Essentially, I gave her my high school ring as a promise and just said like we're gonna stay together.
Which I feel like is something you see in the movies.
Which is why I did it. I'm just kidding. No.
It definitely feels like a movie kind of moment, but I feel like I wouldn't see translate in real life, but for you it did and it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it was an interesting thing. I think it was one of those things where we just I mean all the things that can happen. We've been together I guess for like 17 years now, you know.
That's a long time.
So
I haven't known anyone.
17
for
years. And we've been married for 11 of those years. And so like the being together that long and whatever, it's interesting to look back and she still has like my high school ring tucked away. It's not mine anymore. It's
Liz
hers
says
'cause I
that
gave it to
sounds
her.
sweet.
It is very sweet.
And question: did she work at Disneyland? Did she give your brother a pass?
She didn't work at Disneyland, no. But she did work at Cold Stone, which is great. Both of our first jobs were ice cream.
Weirdly enough, my wife
Related.
also worked at Cold Stone.
Oh, yeah? Cold
Wow.
Stone.
Liz, just do whatever.
There's
Liz
another
wants to
inn,
do.
Liz. It's not over
Cold
yet.
Stone. Work at Cold Stone.
It's not just Disneyland.
Wait, do we
it's
have Cold Stone in Nashville?
No, I think Cold Stone went out of business or got
you know
sold
what is
to like.
Wow,
here's a
business.
common theme.
I think they got sold to somebody like.
It's so good though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It's very expensive.
yeah. I worked at Dairy Queen. That was my first job.
That's cool.
Oh, dude, I love me some
Yeah,
blizzards. I'm not
DQ,
gonna
dude.
lie.
If we like open, my wife and I love ice cream like a lot.
Let me ask
Probably-
you a question. Very serious, very
Okay.
important. You worked at Dairy Queen.
Mm-hmm.
You got the blizzards, right? Mm-hmm. Did you ever turn it upside down and it all fell out?
No,
Really?
no, because I was that good at my job.
Yeah.
Excellence in all things.
See, I had a blizzard once, and I was a little younger, high school age maybe, you know. And I got a blizzard, and I was with my family like a Sunday. We were at the mall. I got a blizzard, and they did the thing, which is great and all.
You're supposed to be able to do it with the cones too.
Really?
That's what I would do.
I never
so
heard
like,
that.
because you have to do like a dip cone.
Oh.
Little known
That's
fact.
advanced Dairy Queening.
Yeah, so that's advanced Dairy Queening. So you get a dip cone, like a butterscotch or a chocolate dipped cone, like get the whatever, and you turn it over and put it in the thing and bring it out, and then you like bring it to them, and sometimes if it's a kid, you just go, whoop, oh, it's still there. Here you go, kid.
But after I got it, we were hanging out with the family, And my aunt maybe didn't know what a blizzard was, and I was like, "It's cool. You can like turn it upside down." And she was like, "That's ridiculous. It'll fall out." And I was like, "No, it won't." So I did it, and then it fell out because it started. to melt.
Yeah,
It was
you
really
passed the
sad.
statute of limitations.
You got like
just-
30 seconds.
Yeah, you got about 2 minutes, I think. Tops.
Anyways, it was really sad, and I missed that blizzard.
That is sad.
I think that we have found a common theme that my sister, your wife, works at places that we like to get things from. She worked at Disneyland. We wanted those free tickets.
Yeah.
She worked at Cold Stone. I wanted that free ice cream. And now she works at Panera. We just a minute ago ate her free cookies.
And they were delicious.
Corinne only works at...
She also worked at the YMCA.
Do you want anything
Oh,
from the YMCA?
Was that
I mean,
in
I've heard that it's fun to stay at the YMCA.
It is...
Oh.
When she worked at the Y, was that in L.A.?
No, it's in San Diego.
Oh, I must have lived in Nashville or something. I never
It
profited
was. It was
off
when we
of-
were dating, and you. So I had met my wife before she was my wife. I met her just at a random show. Ryan was playing with a friend, with Left Coast Lights at that
Yeah,
bar,
my old high
that
school
bar that's
band,
closed now.
We did a
Yeah.
reunion show.
Yeah. There was a Britney Spears song involved. It got weird, but
Was it the one with the snake?
no,
No, it wasn't toxic.
it was "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." Was it him?
Probably.
Yeah,
That sounds abusive.
it
We
was.
figured out the harmonies for Hit Me Baby One More Time, like for 4 people. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You should video
We
that.
were an emo band, man, and we did Hit Me Baby One More Time. That was very avant-garde for our time.
You should have done that.
Except for you guys were
I want to see a
older.
video of that. Do you have video or a recording?
Co
of that?
does have video of it.
Yeah, Co does.
I want to see that.
But so I met her there, but I didn't know her. Then a few years later, when Ryan was moving to Nashville, at Ryan's going away party, we did a show where every band Ryan had played in played.
Every band.
Which was a
we
number.
literally played like 21 songs with like, there were at least 20 people on stage.
Yeah, and then we
was
also did
amazing.
just that night.
So what you're saying
band.
is you get around.
I get around his band.
Yeah, he's got a little slut of music. But
My best friend in college at the Art Institute was doing the sound. It was like we did
Yeah.
we did like an epic show, and we ended with "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey, the perfect ender song of everything.
That is a great
Which was
ender song.
Jared
which-
played guitar.
I played guitar in it.
There's video of the night. It was quite
It was
the
good.
symposium. Anyway, we had a great time.
Yeah, afterwards we went to a bar down the street. His sister was there, and that's where we started talking. So him moving to Nashville, the first time we started dating was right after he moved to Nashville.
Now I found out in August of 2012. It was about 2
2
months
months
after
later.
I moved to Nashville. I was the most alone I had ever been in my life. I knew 3 people when I moved here, and all of them were married, so it's not like they're gonna hang out with me. So I moved here completely bereft and alone, and as I said earlier, like my job fell through, and so I'm working as a medical courier for assholes, and I know nobody. And I'm living in this foreign town. It was and I moved in summer, so it was hot as shit, and I'm from San Diego that prides itself on its perfect weather.
Yeah, you're not used to the humidity.
Nope.
It's
I
terrible.
didn't even know what humidity was.
Yeah, it gets sticky here.
I
Yeah.
don't like it at all.
And so everything
You're just
about
though.
my life had changed. I felt like I had lost. It wasn't true, but I felt like I had lost all my friends. It just felt like everybody in my life had died. It was a very, very hard time. Then one day I get a call from my good friend Jury, and he calls me up, and I'm like, thank God somebody I know cares about me. And he's like, hey, I've got something to share with you. I don't know how you're gonna respond, or like, this might be hard, like he kind of.
And he said,
flipped around and
I think I like your sister more than I like you.
essentially, he's just like, hey, I went on a date with your, I went out with your sister on her birthday just to be a good friend, just to be a good person.
Yeah, she didn't know him in
And-
San Diego. She'd just come back from college in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't have very many
I
friends
mean, whatever
here.
you got to tell yourself,
So I
man.
took her out for her birthday. I was doing the right thing.
And so he's like, hey, I think that she thought it was something different and that we might go on a date, and I think I might want to go on a date with her. Is that okay by you? Which, you know what, I
asked.
appreciated. I appreciate that he called and asked. In lieu of my father, the father is probably the one who's supposed to do that traditionally, but you know what?
I think that's marriage.
My dad's not the kind of guy. My dad would be like, "Why the hell are you calling me?"
You had to be like, all right, I guess that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly how your dad
No,
sounds.
my dad would be
100%.
like, no. My dad would be like, "What? No, you can't date my daughter. Corinne, no, she's way younger. No, this is
Wait,
terrible."
Can I just say for the record that
You freak out.
I fully intend on having an application to date my daughter. So for any prospective guys that are out there listening to this in the future of now, there will be a lengthy application
I
process.
hope no one listening. Wait, how old is your daughter?
She's 5.
I hope no one listening is going to try to date your daughter.
Fact. Unless there's some like 7-year-olds on
Even
on
then, 7
Twitch.
years.
I mean,
is
I
a
hope
lot.
they are.
No. If he's 7 and she's 5, by the time that she's
In 10
15.
years.
15 and he's
22?
17. No. If that's
7
2-year
currently.
difference.
You're right, not
if
7
he's
years
7
difference.
right now.
Math's hard.
Not a 7-year.
It's a good thing I work in finance.
He's not good at the math.
I'm saying for all you 7-year-olds, the 5-year-old is
Fair
not
game.
okay now, but later you could apply. Not
could
okay.
apply.
You could apply.
You could apply, but there's a stringent process, and I own a shotgun.
Yeah,
all I'm
that's
saying.
right. The point is,
Flop.
my dad would eventually
Hey, Kevin.
move to okay. When I was a young man, I dated. I get it. I understand. You have needs. You want to date my daughter. Okay. All right. Well, okay. I support it. And he would quickly move from absolute no to I'm okay with this. It would take about
With no
5 minutes of hearing
argument,
him
I wouldn't say a
rant.
damn word. He would just
Not
do that
one
himself.
word. He would argue with himself, and at the end, you'd win. And
Sure.
that's how my dad
So
is.
you could just be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how my dad is. And
You don't need to talk to have a
that's very
conversation.
cool.
Is he also like a
Last
really bad
episode, I called my dad a
negotiator?
dick.
Is he also a really bad negotiator where like he's like if he
I've
was
not ever heard
like,
my dad negotiate.
buying
once.
a car and he's like, I'll buy it for 10 grand. Well, maybe like 12. Like
No.
14 sounds okay to me.
No. My dad is so frugal. My dad would get that
Remarkable.
car for $3,000.
All right.
Yeah.
Respect,
He would.
Mr. Poole.
My dad wouldn't get a good deal because he's an amazing negotiator. He would get an amazing deal because he's so frugal that eventually they would come down to meet him to sell to him, but he wouldn't try. He would just win because of his frugality.
Because it's
not
actually
an
like
act.
viscerally like a problem for him to spend that much money on
Correct.
whatever it is.
It wouldn't be. Most people act like frugality is part of them, so they get a deal. My dad wouldn't act. It's just
He lives
true.
it.
And they would come down to him, and he'd be like, "All right, $300. I'll buy your Ford F-150." Like, anyway, how do we get on this topic? The point is the jury asked me for my sister's hand in dating, and I said yes.
Hand in dating.
I would have done it
And-
anyways, though.
Chivalry
I
is
was
not
like,
dead,
you know
folks.
what?
It's not dead.
It's okay. Everybody told me it's like you moved out of town and in 1 month your friend Jury is dating your sister. Like he just waited for you to leave. It was a whole thing.
Is that
But
true,
I felt like,
Jury?
No. It's weird that they look a little alike, though.
yeah, it is weird.
Oh, you didn't meet her. She was here like half an hour before you got here.
I should have gotten here earlier.
Yeah, you would have seen my doppelganger with long blonde hair.
Well,
But, you
currently
know-
red.
Depending on how she dyes it. But she's initially blonde, so I think of her.
Initially
The
blonde.
point is that I was supportive of the relationship because my sister is a very whimsical person, and Jury is very stable. And I heard he would tell me about stories about them hanging out. I'm like, yeah, that's how she is. And he was just like, I'm working with her on it. And I was like, whoa, a man has patience for my sister, and I like hanging out with him. This is a great situation.
Yeah.
You know what it was? He made me the best man in his wedding. Now we
True.
live together. We hang out all the time. And,
Like right now. Literally
like
right this
literally
second.
right
Yeah.
now.
You guys are doing this at least once a week.
Yeah.
And we live together.
So it's like if you can marry off your sister to your friend, I recommend it.
Kevin says,
Ooh,
Ryan, you sexy.
thanks, Kevin.
Ryan, you sexy.
Kevin,
I
for those
feel
who
like that's
don't
how
know,
he said it.
AKA Jake.
Sexy. I think that's how he said it.
Kevin lives in Utah.
Okay.
He's an avid video game player.
Cool.
Hangs out with Jury a lot.
Nice.
One time I played PUBG with him. You know PUBG?
No.
PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
Battlegrounds.
It's big right now.
It's a
So
big
hot right now.
shooter video game. It's got some cool mech. Anyway, so Kevin is a big PUBG guy. We played one time.
And
But I've Jury has been a streamer for like
8
2
months.
years now.
Like
No,
8 months.
8 months. Okay, but before
I
that,
before
he
that
was
I did a
making
year of
live YouTube videos, and I'd always hang out at their house while he's like playing video games with people and talking with them over Steam,
Discord.
Discord.
Chat program.
I don't
Yeah,
know
so-
about Discord. I'm so loosely related to like video game stuff. I like.
Yeah.
So when I went to school, I had a roommate named Mike. There's this like Trinidad Indian kid. He lives in LA now, but he crammed 4 years of education into 6.
Perfect.
Because he spent the first 2 years solely playing Halo, and I would challenge anybody, even to this day, Halo 1, Halo 2, to try to beat this. I mean, he played at the, I think it's Blizzard, is it, who made the first
Yep.
couple or whatever?
Well, no, but
All of them?
Blizzard make a bunch of other games, but
Is it? I
Not
forget where he was playing, but essentially
Who does make Halo?
they set up, because it was before
Actually, I don't know.
multiplayer
Bungie?
like tournaments or whatever. They set
Yeah,
up LAN
Bungie.
Kevin might
connections, and like he was even beating the people that helped make the game.
oh, nice.
He's legitimately, and like to the point, he's a gamer to the point that he has a show on YouTube called Gamers. That's you might like it actually. It's interesting. So, but I guess all that to say, essentially, like I've been around gaming my entire life. My younger brother's game, my roommate in college gamed to the point of failing out of his classes, and so it was actually like for me, I was like
that was
tired.
my first year of college too.
Yeah, I was tired, and I would come home from school, and like he would be just finishing a 12-hour stint of playing Halo online.
Insidious 20, welcome. Yes, you are correct. This is the Sexy Music Podcast. And
Welcome to the Sexy
yeah, so what are you
Music
watching here? You're watching
Podcast.
Music Row Hideout. So you're watching it on my Twitch channel, which I also do gaming and stuff. But this is a once-a-week podcast type show that we do where we interview local artists here in Nashville. And we have Jake Anderson,
I'm here
who is
At
a...
Jake Andrews Songs.
at
on
Jake
Instagram.
Anders Songs.
Yeah.
And this is a really good thing because Jury is like branching out, and like he even sang on the internet today.
I did. It was crazy.
When
You
did
were
you
in the
sing?
bathroom.
Oh, damn it! 5-6 years ago, Jury would always say, if you like, we're like, this is part of the song, let's sing. He'd be like, I don't sing.
And not only did
I
he
don't
sing, but he
sing.
sang a song from The Sound of Music.
What's great is we record this, and I'm going to listen to it on the podcast.
It was about 1 second, so good luck finding it.
One of
But
the best.
It's more than 1 second.
yeah, so we drink, and he said, "What was that? Is this you're discussing games, music, and vape?" Yes, that's correct. We are vaping, and we are discussing mainly music
And
We're really
drinking
discussing
Jack
that
Daniels and
and
Coke.
drinking Jack and Coke. Though we're out now,
That's
which
our
is really
other
sad.
podcast, Vape Nation.
That's not a thing. Could be.
We finished this.
Vape Nation
Yeah.
Hideout. We
Sad.
finished a whole bottle of Jack together.
You could have gotten a bigger
We
one.
could have got a
Mission
bigger one.
accomplished, yeah.
You know, when we were at the store, I picked up a bottle and I was like, "Is this the normal size or the big one?" And he was like, "That's the big one." And I was like, "So this is the normal bottle?" Yeah. And I was like,
They make bigger ones.
I think I'm used to the two of us drinking and not a third person.
"It lasts longer
And
with two
yeah,
people."
like,
like
if
one
people-
bottle is like plenty.
One
Yeah.
bottle's several days.
Well, we talked about that before. That it was like, you buy a decent bottle of any kind of whiskey, and it's going to last you probably a couple weeks.
Well, sorry, Insidious. That sounds terrible. He came to Nashville last month and got sick.
Oh, no.
Firehouse Subs.
Firehouse Subs.
Ugh.
Well, you
know,
can't blame
only
that
talk
on
about
Nashville.
Firehouse Subs. I don't know a lot.
I've never
but
been
I used
there.
to work at House of Blues Studio, and I part of my job was getting food for the big celebrities, and Firehouse Subs was a place I went a decent amount of times. You know, Firehouse Subs, it's just okay.
You know, everyone
alright.
seems to like Jimmy John's.
Jimmy, what did you think about
Yeah,
Firehouse
Jimmy
Subs?
John's, just
and
okay.
Firehouse Subs' main competition was Quiznos, right?
But there's no. I haven't seen
Those
a
were the
Quiznos
toast.
here.
Those were the toasted subs places until Subway was like, oh, we can get microwaves.
That's fine. $5 foot long.
The only places that qualify in my book as amazing sub shops. None of the chains can do it. It's only hole in the wall sub shops.
The place that you want to get a sub from if you're in the southeast is Publix.
You know,
Really?
okay,
Publix
here's the
grocery
crazy
store.
thing. 'cause
Publix subs are probably like some of the best.
I haven't
I'm a little
had a sub
biased,
from
but
there.
yeah,
I haven't had one, but
they're really good.
I hear so much when people have told me like, "Oh, you really like chicken wings? Oh, you really like sandwiches? Oh, you really just whatever." They're like, "You gotta go to Publix." Apparently, their food, like fresh food, like take
It's
it home and
great.
eat it section, is amazing.
It's great, and also the lighting is better.
The lighting is better.
Yeah, when you walk into like an old Kroger and it has like that yellow, like I just walked into a kind of a creepy, dirty old warehouse feel.
Jury and I live in the Belmont area. Our Kroger was
Yeah.
remodeled just 3 years ago. So
Yeah, we fancy.
we don't have creepy lighting in
Yeah,
our
the
Kroger.
Kroger in Franklin, Tennessee is actually pretty good on 96 too. But
Franklin would have a good Kroger.
it would have a good
Bitches.
Kroger. It's got like its own like custom cheese shop in
I
it.
believe it.
Yeah, it's got
They
a lot
like
of,
imported
there's a
cheese
Starbucks
slicer.
There's a
from Italy.
Starbucks inside our Kroger.
Oh,
And a
fancy bitch.
and you
That's
can
like a
and you can sit down at a bar and drink wine and beer.
in
What?
the Kroger.
That's
Yeah,
like Whole
in the Kroger.
Foods.
Though
That's
we-
like the Whole Foods of Kroger.
Although I've never actually seen anybody sit down and drink wine or beer at
I'd
Kroger
do it. I have
before.
no shame.
Yeah, it's weird.
Though
Hold on.
we-
It's like the Whole Foods of grocery stores.
Isn't Whole Foods the Whole Foods of grocery stores?
No, Whole Foods is the grocery store of online because Amazon owns them now.
Liz
Really?
says the Franklin's Kroger is real nice.
Wow.
Franklin's a big place
Have you
though.
been
Which
to Cafe
Kroger?
Margot?
On 96.
96. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to house sis for a guy over there.
You still there? Oh.
Anyway. I
96.
probably didn't.
Anyway,
We went to when we picked up this Jack today in
It's
the
real.
liquor store. Which, by the way, if you don't live in Tennessee and you live in like a state that has realistic laws, the liquor laws here are ridiculous. Like you could only buy liquor on Sundays as of like 3 weeks ago.
you
or
can
something.
you can buy wine in a grocery store as of like a month ago.
Yeah. Wait, you cannot buy liquor still? Just wine?
I think
on
you
Sunday?
can buy wine
at a
and
grocery
beer after 12 o'clock on Sunday.
in a grocery store. But liquor stores have to be closed at 11. But you can't buy liquor in a grocery store, and you can't buy liquor on Sundays. But as of like a month ago, you can buy wine on Sundays.
I think you've thoroughly confused everybody this listen.
Yeah.
That's
it's a-
because it's thoroughly confusing because these laws are
is.
shitty.
What it basically means is like stock up on Saturday, dude. Plan
Yeah,
ahead.
but what if you run out? What if you're like hanging out on
and
Sunday
also,
afternoon and you run
the
out?
grocery store doesn't have liquor, which is
Not at
weird.
all.
You can still buy beer.
So we had to go to the liquor store to buy.
But we went to a
the
liquor store
we just
today. I go to Village Wines. Shout out Village Wines.
had. Hashtag Village Wine.
That's the place where I go for all my liquor needs, right next to Belmont.
we got Red Dog next to Publix
And
in Franklin.
they had set up when we went in to buy the Jack. They had a guy who owned a liquor company giving out free tastings of his like vodka in
Called
little
Western
mixed-
Sun.
Yeah, it was.
That was a good memory
I mean,
to
it
me.
tasted like vodka mixed.
Tasted-
what it
but
was,
tasted,
but it was good.
But it tasted like flavored vodka.
Yeah,
Because it was.
It was flavored vodka. And he
We
mixed
had
it.
I tried the blueberry with lemonade and the.
I tried the peach with sweet tea.
How was that?
It was good. Peach and tea go well together.
Yeah.
And then they had the the last one I had was a little weird. I don't remember what it was. And we were just taking shots in the liquor store, picking up Jack Daniels.
Yeah, just
That
have
was
a couple
kinda
drinks and drive home. It's cool.
That's what we did.
A couple drinks and drive the Tennessee way.
Yeah, my studio is only a 1 minute drive from the liquor store, so like the liquor couldn't kick in until we were here.
Yeah.
And also it was very little, but
Well, yeah.
we don't support drinking and driving on this podcast.
That's true. It was only like this much. For the podcast people, it was this much.
It's just a little.
Just
If you can't see us, you can only hear us. It was this much.
Yeah. Bottom line is they made it here safe. Everybody's okay. There was no accidents.
True.
But don't do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uber, you can just get on your phone.
But
and
also
get a ride if
it
you
was
need
only
to.
this much, so
Yeah. Well, we were fine. It was totally
Yeah.
safe and legal. Oh, literally, if we had gotten pulled over by a cop,
they wouldn't even detected it.
breathalyzed,
It was such a little amount. You know those little like
would've been
little
fine.
Dixie cups, like paper ones. You just like rinse your mouth out when you're brushing your teeth as a child.
Mm-hmm.
It was like half of one of those, and it was a mixed drink, so it was like a quarter of that.
Yeah, it was like
Okay.
less
Yeah,
alcohol,
literally nothing.
less alcohol than is in like
Mouthwash?
scope. Yeah, mouthwash.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The same cup that you would use for.
But it was nice. I appreciated going to the liquor store, and he was like, "Hey, try this out for free."
And it was literally the owner of the company was there giving us the samples, which I appreciate. He's like a
And they're not from Tennessee, they're from
some-year-old
Texas.
man, and
Wow.
he's helping us out himself. He doesn't have some underling doing it.
I felt a little guilty for then not buying said liquor.
yeah, but
I just
here's
had to
the-
walk behind him to get the
You
Coke
should
for a
have,
Jack
and
and Coke.
we wouldn't be out of Jack Daniels.
That's true.
That's true. We'd
Or we'd be out of Jack
like, hey,
Daniels,
we're
we'd
out
have
of Jack
something.
Daniels. It's time for blueberry flavored vodka.
That's right. Because Ryan and
Welcome
Jury
to
go
Music Row
hard.
Hideout. This next song is from The Simple Truth.
You guys.
Oh, you didn't
Man.
know what you were walking into today, did you? I don't know what you expected.
Yeah, how do
It's all right.
we don't know. We don't know what this.
You
is
can
like,
only
and
do
we don't
so
know-
much research.
And we don't know. We don't know what it's like to be a guest on this show. Not even a little. What is it like being a guest on the show? In fact, is this what you expected, or is this different?
It's an adventure. It's good. I like it. I honestly so I listen to podcasts quite a bit, and the ones that I love the most are long form, like rambling, get off on tangents.
And this is perfect for
Like,
you.
It's really good because honestly,
your
I
jam.
really love just like actually having a real conversation with somebody versus like I get really tired from like if I wrote a book and I had to go to a book tour or something like that and meet like a new person every 3 minutes and sign a book and talk about something like that, I would be exhausted. I probably need like at least a week to recover from
Oh,
like doing like 2 or 3 days of that.
Right.
So
Liz says you can literally only do so much research. Floppy said 2 episodes worth.
2 episodes. That's right. Yeah.
You listen to both two, studied the shit out of them. and
in
you're
the
like, I got it.
in the terms of like of peer-reviewed journals and studies and things like that, the N of this study was very, very small.
Now, as a scientist,
A doctor.
as a doctor of science,
I don't have a
surgeon
doctorate.
as a doctor of medical
I feel like you guys are
science-
giving me more credit than is due.
whatever.
As
a doctor
the
of
leading person in their
the
field,
leading
surgeon
expert
adjacent right hand man, orthopedic surgeon.
of the doctorate leading medical school of science, how many episodes do we have to do for a peer-reviewed journal to like seriously say we have enough to do comprehensive analysis
I
of
feel like
what
I don't know
this
what a
podcast
peer reviewed
is?
journal is.
So peer-reviewed journal for
bridge.
those who are less educated than others is a journal article which is reviewed by other professionals,
Right.
in which it is validated to say that the methods of this study were done in a proper fashion. There was nothing weird or biased going on, and they look at all the stuff that's put out and say like, hey, this guy was like trying to fudge the numbers a little bit. It's kind of jacked up. We should put this in this journal.
Reviewed by peers.
Reviewed by peers.
Well, this is shit you know if you didn't go to a for-profit university.
I will point out that I very much know what a peer-reviewed journal is.
Hey, Top Shagger 118. What up, Vape Nation?
So
Yeah, we-
welcome
we
the
do that.
number,
To Music Row Hideout.
the number. I'm trying to think of like what a good number is. I feel
Several?
like it's no. I feel like it's at least like 500 to 1,000.
We have to do
That's
500 podcasts.
way more than I...
to 1,000
500 to
podcasts?
1,000 have to review it.
No, 500 to 1,000 N. Like so, like the number of cases. So it's considered.
Oh, I see.
It's
Now-
considered anecdotal up to a certain point.
Interesting.
And then
If
when
we
you have
were
enough
anecdotal-
people,
Welcome to the anecdote, people.
yeah, that's right. Not the
Having a hard
antidote.
life, we are your anecdote.
That's what happens when you go to a not-for-profit college.
Drink poison? I'll take the anecdote. So, question. As an anecdotal question. We have to do 500 podcasts to 1,000 before we can be peer reviewed.
That's
yes,
10
but
years.
Question
Once a
mark.
week.
That's to say that you have a large enough demographic for you
Oh,
to,
yeah,
to
okay, yeah.
find a
10
common thread between all the different things. that
But
you
here is a very important question I have. We're a very long podcast.
That's true. Do
What if
minutes
we
count?
break up every 30-minute segment as its own episode?
So they would only 250 hours.
possibly.
How many years?
Well, if we were doing
I mean,
three-
typically in a
One
medical journal or
year.
something like that, if
Two
you're
years?
thinking of it in that regard, it's a case-by-case basis.
So in just 1 year, you're saying. You're very much declaring as a doctor of
everything.
I mean, I'm not a doctor of anything.
as the doctor of
as
all
the leading
things,
surgeon of orthopedia,
you are declaring that if we break our podcast into 30-minute segments, we can absolutely 100% be peer reviewed next year. This is what you were declaring.
Whatever you got to tell yourself.
what have we become?
Music Row Hideout, the only
I don't think you need that.
peer-reviewed
So here's the thing,
podcast.
though. There's things that have anecdotal evidence
Sure.
that are true. Just because they're anecdotal doesn't mean they're not validated.
Floppy says Jake is a doctor of sexy hair. Which is
Thanks.
absolutely
Appreciate
true.
that. My hair is I kind of got like I have two brothers that are models, like professional models.
What?
Wow.
We have
Yeah.
to, can we see their picture?
So you can if you want.
Google that shit.
They're on
Jared,
like
bring it up.
Instagram's probably the way to do it. I have a strict like no pants, no like policy on Instagram, and I got to be real careful because like if you're scrolling through live like in the real world,
But
and
Instagram
then-
can only do so much. Can only show so much. Right?
Yeah, but the problem is like if you're a dude and your brother's your friend and you're like scrolling through and he has a picture like doing like Under Armour boxers,
sure.
then you're like you got to scroll fast because otherwise people will see your phone and be like, dude, what the hell are you looking at?
So
People don't see what you
How
see.
do I
So look
search?
up. I have to look and see what they're. My phone's over there. Can you get my phone right?
Where's your phone?
Right there in my guitar case.
Yeah.
I think it's like, look up Chris Anderson.
Hey, that's the same last name as you.
Yeah, same last name as me.
Chris Anderson _ Birdman.
No, it's not that one. Hold on, I gotta take it off of airplane mode.
Chris Anderson Studios.
No,
Chris Anderson Photography.
no, I'll tell you.
Chris Anderson Jewelry.
Just keep going. You'll get it there. You'll get there eventually.
Hashtag Chris Anderson.
No, not that one.
Anderson TV Chris.
Actually, it's ITS Chris _ Anderson.
Okay. It's
So he was
Underscore?
recently his picture. If you guys are looking at it, is the he's in the like the latest online like Yingling ad. So if you
Beer.
like Yingling, he's the
this him?
guy in the that's him. Yeah. So
All right, I gotta turn it on.
he's turning it on.
Whoop.
Some shout out to my brothers, two of my brothers.
Here he
that
is.
are,
In all his glory.
so he's the more
Oh,
rugged
wait.
one.
Wait.
That's the some sort of mountain range.
Oh wow, no pants.
Yeah, I couldn't like that one because it's a strict no pants.
Here we
no
go
like
with a
password.
decent jacket.
Yeah.
You- see, I mean,
So I got the hair of a model. I got the Fabio hair, but I didn't get the body of the model.
you know, I'm not real into
Mostly
male
because
models.
I chose not to like work that hard for it.
Which one's your brother?
This one.
Oh, he got the bod.
I don't know. You got better hair though.
Yeah, I got the
true.
Fabio hair, but I didn't. I chose not to work hard enough to get the bod.
You
Now,
said you have two
next
though.
week we're gonna have Chris Anderson on the podcast. Where how you get that Chris Anderson bod? You have
So-
two model brothers, but does he really surf?
Yeah,
I
Uh-huh.
surf. No,
Yeah.
I've never looked that cool on a wave, but I never had a professional photographer.
yeah. Well, he was a pro surfer
Liz,
for a little while.
Do it, Liz.
I was never a pro surfer. I could never. Liz, these male models are too old for you.
So the other one is Aaron _ Anderson 31, and he's more of like the. If I'm trying to describe them, Chris is more rugged. Aaron's more of like the sharp jawline,
Anderson. what?
Armani like guy.
Chris is
Aaron
looking pretty
Anderson.
Armani in that leather jacket
31.
photo.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pretty much tell because they're in like their underwear and their profile pictures. That's what they do.
Well, look at that.
But like
all,
I said-
all the leg.
Strict no pants, no like policy.
Really? Are we locked into Ryan's account?
Yep. Ryan, this is
Oh,
all
no, we're
going
not.
on your
I was
history,
gonna like
dude.
them all.
Oh,
Different
Like 'em.
browser.
you're
Follow
like
them
only
if you
the ones
can.
Without pants.
Yeah, follow them. Why not?
Oh my
I'm not
God.
logged in.
That was very no pants.
Yeah.
He is sure a model. Keep moving on. Why do you keep going back to that one, Jerry?
I don't know what to do. It just keeps coming back.
There you go. I think that's like a hair show. That's somewhere in New York.
I understand no pants, but I don't understand no underwear. I don't get it.
Hey, man, I respect the hustle and I
leg.
respect the grind, and I've just
Brian means something different here.
I chose because I have kids. I feel obligated to have a dad bod, so
Yeah, you have
Obligated. It's a requirement.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get fired.
I'm more cuddly.
to. Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's right.
Does anybody want Lay's potato chips that
Where's
Leah
this even
apparently
I would
bought?
love some Lay's.
Leah
Is it
must have bought
okay
them. They're new. I just opened them.
for the folks on the chat? Is it like okay if I crunch really loud?
Absolutely.
Crunch
Lots of-
these into the microphone.
Hashtag dad bod. You don't have any hidden beer in that fridge, do you?
No.
Hidden beer.
I love hidden
that like a
beer.
brand
Well,
new?
I have found that drinking while I work doesn't help me be productive.
It helps me be productive. That's simply because I stream and it makes me better.
A lot of people do drugs while they record music.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I just drink.
Liz says her poor heart
Also
can't
a
handle
drug,
that much
caffeine.
leg.
technically
Floppy,
speaking.
Floppy
what?
and Liz both specifically request crunching.
Now you'll notice, as an audio engineer,
stream. We are not an ASMR stream.
I have to say that my mic will pick up the high end of the crunching much better than their mics
That's
because
right.
I'm using a condenser microphone. This is a Neumann U87. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right by the microphone, right by your ear, and I'm going
Don't
to
be trying to
this.
ASMR the fuck out of this. This is weird.
But you'll get
You
more.
are going to get the
you'll get-
tinglies in your head.
You get more of the low end of the crunch if you get a little
Oh,
closer to the
Floppy
microphone.
says not
though.
from you, Ryan. What the fuck? I just want that Jake Anderson
Oh
crunch.
no! Floppy turned on me. Floppy, no!
I'm
Only
coming.
Jake. Only 2 people said only Jake.
I'm coming.
Jake, okay, only Jake. Come over to this mic. It's better.
Here we go. Ready?
What if we become?
You have to narrate what you're doing, or it's not ASMR now.
Oh,
Tell people what you're doing.
He held up the chip,
Whisper more.
and then he whispered, and then he put the chip into his mouth and he crunched. And it was glorious crunch.
We're
really
definitely a music-based podcast. I promise.
I'm really weirded out by this podcast. I'm no
Like I
longer
said, there's no
subscriber.
way I could have
That's
prepared for this.
Floppy wants you to do it in your own mic.
My own mic.
Oh.
All right, let's see the difference. So that's a condenser mic. This is a cardioid
Dynamic.
dynamic mic.
Make sure you whisper.
Oh, sorry, I gotta whisper. Not as glorious. What do you think, Dongus?
What is happening to us?
Floppy, here's the condenser again. It won't be Jake, but it will be a chew. So just for your reference.
Or are you trying to get onto this, man?
Floppy says that one had a lot more defined crunch.
No.
Tara Miros is much crunch.
For the record, these chips are
Gluten free.
what I would expect
No,
from a bag
free
of
range.
Lays.
These are free range Lays.
Free range Lays. So
Now jury's chair is the chip chair.
the chip chair. So here at the Music Row Hideout, we just hang out in the hideout on Music Row. Is that a palindrome?
What's
I
that?
was trying to make a palindrome. I don't know if it worked or not.
What is a palindrome again?
Palindrome is when you have like 8008. So it's the same forwards and backwards.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it worked or not.
Mom.
I tried really hard. Words are my. It's like little things.
Words
If
are
you,
your art.
if you could work it into a song, if I could work a palindrome into a song, I would feel really accomplished as a songwriter.
I'm telling you, Mom is the world's most simple palindrome. And so's Wow.
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 Dad.
Dad.
Yep.
Yeah, you could
There's a
put
lot.
any of those into a song and your money.
But that's not like a real. I'm talking about like a word association thing back and forth where you say essentially the same, like you say 8 words, but 4 of them are the same and mirrored on the other side, and it makes sense in a sentence.
That's
That
very
would be some
impressive.
Jedi
Yeah.
mind tricks going on there. Yeah.
So here's a complete as Rocky the Squirrel used to say on Rocky and Bullwinkle. And now for something completely different. That was the wrong tonality, but he had that husky voice, right?
Hey, you gotta work
Or
on your
she.
impression though.
And now for something completely different. It's the wrong. I don't know.
You just gotta do your research for the next time. It's okay. We'll let it pass
That's
this
true.
time, but next time they're not gonna be so easy on you.
This is important. This is very important, Jake. You being so facetious is not okay. Because last night, I had a dream that I traveled into the future with some friends. One of them being Jury's cousin, Travis Bird.
Not with Jury.
I forget the others. No, Jury wasn't there. He didn't go to the future. Screw Jury. He's in the past. You're in the
What does that
past,
mean?
man. Me and Jury's cousin went to the future with somebody else I can't remember.
He whispered
And,
into the mic as he took a chunk of his
There's
chip.
a lot of weird things in the future, but what was really interesting was I time traveled in this dream, saw what it was like, and There's a very different world, but I'll tell you one thing is, in the future, I don't know things. In the future, all the just random ass small towns of America, they're like Times Square.
Naturally.
Yeah, they're that big and like full of billboards and flashing lights. The future is a lot like now, but just more.
Huh.
So, I thought I would let you guys know where the world's going.
I think that's a natural conclusion. The future is like now, but more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
Can you imagine?
quote unquote include that, but if you haven't been there like I have last night in my dreams, you wouldn't know.
Like, whether you're a Christian or not, if you read the Bible and you look at, like, Solomon's account of, like the book of Ecclesiastes is a really, really dark book. But he talks about, like, all this stuff, and he's like, I owned a lot of land, and I created a paradise. If he saw what we have today, he would be like, dude,
Dude.
what the hell? Like, I thought I had it really good. Like, you can just, like, call somebody from across the world on a
I didn't know shit.
on a little playing card deck sized
I
device.
know what playing cards were.
Also, he's like, whoa, you have playing cards?
Yeah. Anyway, we have it pretty
I was
good.
like about to go down a very magician path, but I'm going to bring it back and not do that.
Magicians are cool though.
Yeah.
Anyway, where are we at? What's going on?
You're in Music Row Hideout. The all Nashville, all music, all row podcast.
Where shit gets weird.
The shit gets weird real fast.
Where we crunch chips into the microphone.
We got
And
the
we look-
Dorito emote.
And we look at pictures of male models.
Those are beautiful Doritos. I'm not sure who.
It was Liz, Terrell Mira.
Liz, you did.
Doritos
That
Liz.
was well played.
Lays. With that cheesy joke,
No.
it's very dad. Can we have you play another song?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta finish these. I feel like it'd be disrespectful to like put them on
To
the table.
chip
true,
and
it's true.
song at the same time? Never chip and song, as they say.
Now I gotta think of what to play.
Right? Did you know he'd been playing this many songs when you...
I did say 3, and we're now on 4.
I mean,
Okay.
So this is unfair to you
Yeah,
of
but-
me to do.
And we've seen that you
Well,
have a
but
lot.
before you play though, can you bring that guitar, you can tune, but can you bring the guitar up to the, closer to the camera so people can see how rugged and worn this thing is? It's got a super cool look to it.
From playing.
What?
From playing?
So this is
Assumably.
my.
No, you gotta bring it closer. People can't see the details.
Is that better?
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
better.
Tell us about that guitar.
So, this is my grandfather's guitar. I feel like I gotta like turn it a little bit to get it not as much sheen because it's not as shiny as it looks.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's way
Good
better.
right there.
Yeah.
So, and you guys are like listening to my armpit right now. This is my grandfather's guitar, Papa Gene, and it's survived a lot of Andersons. I stood on this guitar when I was 8, and then
Well, damn.
then when I was 30, I paid to fix the crack that I created when my dad gave it to me and said, "Hey, I think you'll probably use this more than I will." But it's also like the nicest guitar sound of any guitar I think I've ever played. So
What kind of guitar is it?
this is a Gibson J45. It's
Oh.
from 1953,
Wow.
Damn.
and it is it's my whatever it's worth monetarily, it is worth more to me
Yeah.
in general.
I don't know
Yeah.
what it's worth monetarily,
What
but
is it worth
50s
monetarily?
Gibson is probably
This
worth a
guitar
lot.
is probably worth somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. It's worth more than my car.
Jury and I watch Pawn Stars every night.
Most nights.
Almost most nights. And we would see somebody sell a guitar like that on Pawn Stars. That's the point of the story.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we listening to? What are we hearing?
I think I'm gonna play another song from the analog session that we did. So we did Smoke earlier, and we did the really kind of we did Won't Forget. This
Okay,
song,
this is a very good question. Before you announce the song,
Well, we'll be the
chat,
judge of that.
Here's a question for the chat. We're gonna go look at the
Okay.
chat right now.
I have it here too.
If you were watching earlier and we did the analog tape chat thing, do you want to see one more tape song, where we put it through the tape machine, or do you want him to do it more direct? So the analog tape creates the delay, which isn't that happy, but makes it sound all old, which is maybe cool. Vote which way you want to see the song.
First person to say something.
First person. It's a race.
But there's a delay,
Also-
so it's going to take a second. For
So we'll give you a second. I'd
You're
like to
supposed to
mention
tell
that
him that.
there's a fraternity that lives above the studio, and they apparently just started a party because all of a sudden there is loud as hell music above.
Floppy says, sure, as long as you don't do weird shit with the tape thing.
I did. I kept. You guys couldn't hear it without the headphones, but I would stop the reels, and it goes like.
So, he said, yeah,
All right.
All right.
don't do weird shit.
Okay. Yes, but no weird shit.
All right, we're going to give it a
Liz
shot.
says, yeah, the tape's cool, but don't mess with it.
I just wanted to show you guys what it's like.
So don't do the tape or do the tape?
Do the tape,
but don't be
but
weird.
don't fuck with it.
Okay. I mean, you already messed with it, so I feel like we're good.
I just wanted them to understand that it was real.
It is real. It's really cool.
So we're recording.
Okay, tell me, is it good? Because I'm going to mute us.
Yep. So mute us. Unmute.
What do you say when the words just won't leave your mouth? And what do you do when you lose what you never really found? How do you fight when your spirit's lying broken on the floor? How do you live without someone you've been living for? Well, I lost the better part of me and figured out without you I'm just whiskey that don't burn when it goes down. A train's just smoking steel without a track. What good's a heart without someone to love it back? How do you hurt when you're numb to everything that's real? And how do you beg for forgiveness when you're too proud to kneel? How do you wrestle with the truth and still not understand? How do you try to make things right when she don't give a damn? Well, I lost the better part of me and figured out without you I'm just whiskey that don't burn when it goes down. A train's just smoking steel without a track. What good's a heart without someone to love it back? Without you I'm just whiskey that don't burn when it goes down. Us trains just smoking steel without a track. What good's a heart without someone to love it back?
So many buttons to press. All right.
The Jack was working on that one.
It felt good, right? So, again, for those of you who are new, that is Jake Anderson playing, what was the song called?
It's called What Good's a Heart.
What Good's a Heart. And you can find him, I know we've said it multiple times. Ooh. Floppy says he doesn't get emotional often, but that song hit him right in the feels.
Hey, man.
Floppy,
Thanks, dude. I
what was
appreciate
it that
Floppy.
he said, if you want to share, what was it that he said that hit you in the feels? So at Jake Anders Songs is what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was just going to remind everyone where you can find Jake.
And at The Simple Truce.
TRUCE, yep.
And Facebook
Instagram.
and...
Facebook, yeah, so it's just Jake Anderson Music on Facebook and The Simple Truce
So
on Facebook.
How did The Simple Truce start? We never got to that. What is The Simple Truce?
So,
How did it happen?
The Simple Truce, so Rachel and I have been writing for quite a while. We've written a lot of songs together, and we got to a point, we were playing these shows where we would do like 3-hour like song swaps, which for anybody, like there's this thing called the Nashville like Writers Round. Which is a thing that we do where like 4 people will get up or you see either sit in a circle or get on a stage and just go down the line. Everybody plays a new song or their own original song, and they just go around in a circle for like an hour. So we would do these things for like 3 hours with just 2 of us. And we had written enough together, and we knew each other's songs well enough that we were singing harmonies and playing stuff on top of each other's songs and stuff like that. And after like the 5th time of people going like, "Hey, how long have you guys been a duo?" or asking what the duo name was, we were like, maybe we should just do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what is the truce, and why is it simple?
So simple is mostly because we, both of us, from a writing standpoint, like things that are simple. Like, for me, my personal litmus test for a song is if it is not passable with just one guy and a guitar, then it may not be a very good song.
Floppy says, he guesses just the whole idea of the song. That's not necessarily love, but losing people that he really cares about in his life.
Yeah, but it is love in a way because without like the reality of that love sometimes can't be fully felt until you lose the feeling of that love. For whatever that's worth.
We've gone all over the place in this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
We've gone highs and lows, the whole deal.
We went deep, we went wide, we went laugh, we went cry. Oh shit! Put that in a song, Jake.
What
A
did we
Jake
say?
Anders song.
We went deep, we
We
went
went
high.
low, we went high. We went deep, we went cry. No, sorry, we went laugh, we went cry. There, so you get the opposite, the contrast.
I think we went deep, we went high. We went or laugh, we went cry.
You're right. We went laugh, we went cry.
We'll wordsmith it later.
Good. Yeah, we'll work on it.
10% for you.
The chords. the chords are D minor,
Is that the one?
F, C, G. What key am I describing?
D minor, F, C, G, C.
Mhm.
Key of
Key
C.
of C. That's right. 2, 4, 1, 5.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's back to something you were saying earlier. That's one of the advantages of moving into Nashville. And Jury, you're learning / shall learn over time. In Nashville, you learn by osmosis. Like, I didn't know so many things about music before I moved here, even though I'd like gotten an education and worked at studios and done my own thing. You move here and just like the caliber and the standard is so high. The people I work with are all better at me at their
Yeah.
thing every time.
Dude, trying to work in Nashville and be like a A-list producer, a session musician, a session singer, or anything like that, it's essentially like trying to be in the Olympics because
Yeah.
everybody here is so good. It's
Like
insane.
ridiculous good in a way that you didn't know existed before you moved.
Yeah.
We're gonna soon have my buddy Terrence on, and he's kind of my like current favorite drummer. And I've been playing drums since I was 10. I'm 30, so that's 20 years of playing drums. And like there have been various. I haven't picked up the sticks in a while, but like there have been various times in my life that I felt like I was a very good drummer. I get around somebody like Terrence, and he plays for like. The only one I remember right now is Gunger. Oh, and David Ryan Harris, who played for John Mayer for a long time. Those are the only names I remember from him. But he's just played on a million
David Ryan
records.
Harris. I have a friend named Ryan Harris Brown, and I feel like he met him at one point in the past. We played somewhere in the Northeast together, and I think he like met him somewhere in Nashville or something like that when he played here, and he was like, "My name's Ryan Harris Brown." And I don't think David Ryan Harris thought it was very funny.
I'm David Ryan Harris Brown.
That's right. David Ryan Harris Brown. It's like that weird word association game where you just say like the next thing that comes up. So it's
Yeah. So I just I get around people like him, and I'm like, I do this thing you've done, and I've done it for 20 years, and I feel like I do it pretty good. But there's a level of musicianship where you're actually able to play the part, and then there's this like next level where you play it in this amazing way that blows everybody's minds and has this depth and feeling and
I call it biorhythm.
Biorhythm.
You can't steal somebody's biorhythm. Somebody's like, people play things in a certain way, especially an artist like plays things in a certain way, and it's like so natural to them if they give into it. And then other people are like, how do you do that? Or that's a weird timing thing. Like, why do you do it like that? Or whatever, because it's just their biorhythm.
No one else can do it.
It's their biorhythm.
Well, I don't know that I'd learn by osmosis, considering I'm not trying to make it big in the music industry.
I think
You're
you're
looking at
gonna
one of-
probably
but
learn things though.
You will. You're
Probably,
working at one of the biggest music colleges that there is. And number two, every week you're doing a podcast with musicians where
True.
you're talking about
And you
their
know,
art.
in San Diego, I was a decent guitar player, which means that in Nashville,
Yeah.
I'm a terrible guitar player.
I'm the world's okayest guitar player.
You know, you are the okayest, Jake.
Okayest.
You own that.
But
Yeah.
I do want to learn to play drums. I actually
Yeah.
intend on learning to play drums exclusively on stream, not taking lessons, nothing, just learning with a drum set and YouTube. I just need to get the money to buy some drums. So if somebody wants to donate enough money for me to buy drums, now's the time.
Me too. Yeah. I think, though, being in this town, though, I think it's something, and I think I mentioned earlier, there's always like 10 people that you know in your loose circles, convergent circles or whatever, that do something that you do better than you.
Yeah.
So, like, I know a bunch of people that are better songwriters than me, or better vocalist than I am, or better guitar player than I am, or better producer than I am, as far as like demos and things like that. So like the other thing it forces you to do at a certain level when you get to the breaking point is to say, oh, so the only thing that I can really do better than anybody else in Nashville is to be myself. Like, cause I can be myself better than anybody else could be me.
You're totally right. I've come to that exact same conclusion every so often you feel down about yourself, and then that's not the best thing. Like, you don't love being the best you.
That's the artist way. That's the roller coaster ride.
But when you're up, like, when you're in a good place, you realize that there's like this whole phase of trying to break into something where you're just like trying to be what people want, what people say is the good thing, what people say is often successful. You're trying to like get into the right place where lightning's going to strike. But if you stick around long enough and go through the lessons, you come to a place where you're like, you know what, I'm going to just do me, and eventually lightning's going to strike here. Because I don't know if I'm pushing this metaphor too far, but it's like you're the only person who can stand where you can stand. And you can't force lightning to strike where you're standing. It may or it may not. But the cool thing about if you just embrace your particular vibe, your particular inclinations, like, you're the only person who can place in that stand in that place. This is not unique, but just a weird analogy, like this Goonies poster behind me. There's definitely a time in my life when I was younger where I would have been embarrassed to have a Goonies poster, because I'd feel like either, oh, that's too kiddish, or I'd feel like, oh, that's so standard, that's so basic, everybody likes the Goonies, this is goober for me to like. Or I'd feel like, yeah, I know you don't.
Everybody likes the Goonies.
You're the man out.
It's
Or
fine.
Or I'd feel like, oh, this is an 80s thing. 80s isn't cool right now. And when you wait around for I'm going to hide all the things I think are cool until everybody else says it's cool. That's fine for a while, but I just think you get to a place in life, and maybe I think this applies broader to music. I think everybody hits a place in everybody seems to say in their 30s they hit a place where they feel more comfortable in their skin, and they're like, you know what? You can hate my Goonies poster. It doesn't matter. I like it a lot, so it's going in the background of the podcast because it's my wall, and I hung a nail in there earlier so that I could put my Goonies poster there every week, because usually it lives in the bathroom. But
You should just keep it there.
I would, but I love it in the bathroom because I see it more. The point is, I've gotten to a place in my life where, hey, when I was in high school, Liz, this is for you. In high school, I assume Liz is in high school.
She's about to be a senior, yeah.
So high school wisdom. In high school, I had 2 really close buddies that gave me shit for everything I did. And so what I did was I changed who I was in order to not get shit from them. In high school, I 100% had a friend. His name's Brandon McIntyre. He won't be listening. Brandon would have 100% been like, why is your Goonie posters in your studio right now? It was in your bathroom before. You're stupid. You moved it just for the podcast, didn't you? And 17, 16-year-old Ryan would have been like, I feel stupid. I did move it for the podcast. 30-year-old Ryan moves the poster in the middle of the podcast. Doesn't give a shit.
30-year-old Ryan says, yeah, I did.
30-year-old Ryan was also drunk
That's
moving
right.
the poster.
I wasn't drunk anymore. 30-year-old Ryan, that's the thing, is you get older, and maybe a 17-year-old or a 25-year-old can do this. I don't know, but the sooner you can own your stuff and just be like, I don't care, I stream games on Twitch. That's my
Liz says
deal.
she doesn't have friends like that.
You will. Don't worry, Liz. You will.
Floppy
The
says,
point-
you ain't living then.
Whether it's friends or if it's family or
Yeah.
frenemies, whatever it is, if you have people in your life that kind of suck and put your stuff down that you do, at a certain point, I don't think you have to get rid of those friends necessarily, but I think you do need to start doing your thing even if people give you shit. Because ultimately, people come in and out of your life.
Life's too short not to be yourself. That's what I learned from Vanderbilt and everything else that I've done in my life, is that I'm a better human being and a more emotionally vulnerable and available for my wife and my kids and my friends and the people that I care about, because I do what I know that I'm here for,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important lesson that people don't always get to learn, because you spend, most people, I think, spend their life living for something that's not necessarily what they were designed to be here for. If you chase after something like that, it's wasting an opportunity. And who knows? Me being vulnerable or me singing a song that's really related to something dark from my past, somebody might listen to that and say, that hit me right in the feels. Right, Dongus?
That is formal. I think it was Mr. Dongus.
Mr. Dongus?
Right. I think that's the deepest way we could ever bring this episode to a close.
Yeah.
Be yourself, kids. And if you want to
Or
watch...
not kids.
And adults. If you
And
want
other.
to watch Jake Anderson be his self, you can tune in at Jake Anderson Songs on Instagram.
Jake Andersongs, yeah.
Song. And
You
at
said 8 times.
The Simple Truce. But we're live. People come and go.
TRUCE. Yep.
No, I mean, how did you get it wrong?
Oh, I said it right. Jake Andersongs.
You said Jake Anderson songs.
Jake Anderson songs? No, I did not.
You did.
You just
You
don't
did.
hear me right.
You'll hear it when you listen back.
False.
It's okay.
I'll hear it later. You guys are cool.
And Liz says, Floppy says, please, Jake, we aren't on a first name basis yet. Liz says, Floppy names like everything much less serious. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
And we're gonna outro here with one of Jake's songs from his previous album, which you can order on the internets
Yeah.
or listen on the Spotify.
My first EP ever is still available for post order. If anybody wants to get it
Yep.
online.
What song?
which
should we
we've already
listen to?
agreed means just order.
Let's do Comeback. It's the title track, so Comeback Kid.
Okay, so we're gonna play it on Spotify. So if you do have Spotify, is that on Google
Hey,
Play and stuff too?
before we go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
first number one, thank you guys for having me. I really
Also,
appreciate
shout out all
being
your
here.
things.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you're welcome, and you're the first guest to thank us for having you.
I appreciate it. This is really fun, and it's really cool to like sit down and actually have like a long conversation with somebody, and not be like, all right, we're gonna in between the break here. You want to play a song or whatever? You know, like it's cool to just have a
Just
talk.
wing it.
Also, I was told that there was some question.
Oh,
Oh my God!
right.
Thank you. We forgot the first episode,
And
the
I don't
second
know what it
episode, we
is.
almost didn't get to it.
I don't know what it is, but I'm
Most important
hoping.
the
question
deal.
of the podcast.
I'm hoping that I have an answer for it.
here's the deal. It's got to be a quick answer.
Okay.
Because if you stew on it too long, it gets weird in your head. We need the truth from your soul.
All right, I'm focusing.
Okay.
And I'm connecting with something within
Maybe the
myself.
most important question you've ever answered in your
Maybe spend a
entire
moment
life.
meditating or something. Get
All right, I'm gonna do some diaphragm
breath.
breathing.
yeah.
Now, if you had to pick, and you do,
I do have to pick.
yeah. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Turtle. Loggerhead sea turtle.
Loggerhead sea turtle. There it is. You heard it here first. The
Jake
deepest,
Anderson's
darkest
favorite.
secret.
That's what this whole thing was about. That was our gotcha question.
Gotcha!
We're putting that all over the internet, you idiot.
Why turtle?
Wait, no, more importantly.
Why not?
What is a loggerhead steel turtle?
Loggerhead sea turtle.
Sea turtle.
So loggerhead
turtle's a
sea
whole
turtle.
nother
So when I went to high school, my military family, we moved around, but my grandparents are from this place, Satellite Beach, Florida, and that's where we ended up when my dad got out of the army. And there's like sea turtles come up on the beach, and that was the turtle that would come up on the beach that you would get a felony if you broke an egg or obstructed a sea turtle from getting to the ocean.
We have that in San Diego with otters.
So it's my favorite one just because it's familiar. It's nice. I like it.
What is loggerhead? Is that just the
That's
type?
that's the brand name of the turtle.
brand name of the turtle?
I think it's the same turtle that's actually like in like Finding Nemo and stuff like that too.
Ooh.
Yeah, Squirt.
Dude.
You're gonna exit into the Australian stream going north. Please vomit out of the whatever they called it. Yeah, this is really bad impersonation.
So to recap, at Jake Anderson's
Yeah.
loggerhead steel turtle.
Sea turtle.
Loggerhead steel sea turtle. And be yourself. Don't do drugs.
Well, we never said
Yeah,
that.
except for alcohol and caffeine, you can do those
And
together.
this is Music Row Hideout, and we're about to listen to Comeback Kid off Jake Anderson's.
Wait, hold on. Well, also you can find at the Simple Truce.
At the Simple Truce. Yeah, TRUCE.
Oh, and us.
Oh, and us. Yeah, that's right. We're doing a thing. You can find us on YouTube, Music Row Hideout. Facebook and Twitter are like half set up, Music Row Hideout. But also Instagram, Music Row Hideout.
We started doing stuff there.
Yeah, I started doing stuff on Instagram. You can find me personally at Obadiah_X on Twitter. Or what are the other things? Obadiah X on Instagram.
Probably.
Ryan, Bird Rock Studios, and also Ryan
I'm
Pool
at
Music.
Bird Rock Studios and at Ryan
and
Pool
also
Music's my
I
main
can neither
account.
confirm or deny at this point, but if you go to my website jakeandersonmusic.com, I can neither confirm or deny that you might get a recording at some point in the future of a few of the songs that I played tonight for the price of On the House
Wow, that's the best price.
if you sign up for my email list, which is right there on the front page. So jakeandersonmusic.com. Sign up. Let me know you're from Music Row Hideout because that's awesome. And then also look out in the future if you do sign up because there could be a little gift waiting for you.
Little gift. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to hang out. As always, we do appreciate it. Feel free to hit that follow button if you haven't done so already. And we will see you next Friday with special guests.
Alexander Wren.
Alexander
cool.
Will be
That guy's
drinking
awesome, man.
Whiskey neat.
I know Alexander Wren.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I have a friend that he's come to a few shows, but also he's dating a friend of mine that is, it's small. Nashville is a very small universe.
And next week we will be asking Alexander Wren what he thinks about Jake Anderson for Rio. So Jake, don't tune in.
We'll see what he says. I'm gonna listen. I'm actually just gonna at
And you'll know his favorite turtle.
at 9:30. I'm gonna tune in.
Right as it gets to get real weird.
Just to see the favorite turtle part.
That's right.
So this is Comeback Kid by Jake Anderson. You can find it on Spotify and Google Play, maybe?
I think it's on everything.
All the
internet.
things.
Everywhere that you listen to music.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming to hang out, and we will see y'all next time.
They say if you fall behind, move a little faster. Never hang your head down to the floor. Well, that all looks good on paper. It's filled with good intentions. Not everyone is quite so self-assured. I've had a reputation in certain situations, finding ways to sabotage myself. I can make the same excuses, but I know what the truth is. Can't place the blame on anybody else. Now it's time for me to help myself. Call me the comeback kid. I'm on my second win. I'm gonna find my way. I'm gonna shed my skin. Don't count me out just yet, 'cause brother, you can bet I'm coming around again. Call me the comeback kid. There's a long and lonely highway stretching out before me. I can see the heat rise from the road. But there's something good waiting over that horizon, and I know I've got to get there on my own. I know that I can make it on my own. Call me the comeback kid. I'm on my second win. I'm gonna find my way. I'm gonna shed my skin. Don't count me out just yet, 'cause brother, you can bet I'm coming around again. Call me the comeback kid. Gonna dig a little deeper, stand a little taller. I'm not backing down. Just call me the comeback kid. I'm on my second win. I'm gonna find my way. I'm gonna shed my skin. Don't count me out just yet, 'cause brother, you can bet I'm coming around again. Call me the comeback kid. I won't lay down again. Call me the comeback kid. I know there's more month than there is money. Wipe your tears, there ain't no need to shout.